rubbish on social media of that small section of Arsenal fans who decided that they didn't want Nona Madueke signing for the club. What vindication for this player. I mean, he's had a fantastic international break. Didn't play too badly at Anfield a couple of weeks ago either, and with Bukayo Saka out, he's really making his mark, isn't he, in a short space of time, Stuart Pearce?
Yeah, he's on his way up as a player, no doubt about that. I think he feels loved at Arsenal and loved at England as well, and that bodes well for both club and country, I think. He's a great opportunity as a winger to play against. He gets turned, he runs at you, he's direct, he dips in and outside. He's a real handful as a player.
He really is, isn't he? And what a moment for him, actually, with the injury to Bukayo Saka, to really have an opportunity, because that's something he probably wouldn't have had Saka sort of been in the lineup at week in, week out.
Yeah, exactly. I think, personally, come next summer at the World Cup, England's flanks will look like Saka one side, Madueke the other, personally. And listen, that all bodes well for when Saka is back, the options that they've got here at Arsenal, and that's what they want, options in all positions. Yeah,
options in all positions. It looks like Nottingham Forest have that as well. And Elliot Anderson really impressive for England last week. Possibly a real start for both club and country. We'll see him today as well. Okay, I'm sure you can hear it through the speakers. What a raucous atmosphere here at the Emirates, and what a day for Ange Postecoglou, back in North London, but this time as the manager of Nottingham Forest. It really is a new era for the club, and what a way to start his tenure back at Arsenal. Now, Forest have had a tough time of late. They've won just 5 in their last 11 games. They actually have never beaten Arsenal here away at the Emirates since Arsenal moved from Highbury, and Ange has never beaten Arsenal as a manager. Now, you heard he says that he doesn't have a point to prove, but you know what? 3 today would do quite nicely. There is just something about this extra spice. It's the new managerial bounce as well, and especially for this Nottingham Forest side, as they are ready for a new dawn in their history. It could be slow progress. Let's see how it goes. It's all set up so beautifully. Cannot wait for this one. And you can hear it in the company of Nottingham Forest legend Stuart Pearce. But first, here's Sam Matterface.
Emirates Stadium, will you please welcome Nottingham Forest and...
Thank you, Reshmin. Andrew's back, and he's back at the Emirates to visit the old neighbours. But if he's looking for a bit of love and understanding, then he's probably not come to the right place. He never managed to beat Arsenal as the Tottenham boss, but 99 days on from his sacking at Spurs, he returns in a different role as the manager of Nottingham Forest. A Forest side that are determined to prove and provide some of the biggest storylines in the Premier League soap opera, with an owner that is a hero to some and the arch-villain to others. Either way, whether it's Evangelos Marinakis or Ange Postecoglou or Elliot Anderson or Chris Wood, Nottingham Forest are full of main characters. Arsenal have their sights on switching their role too. Fed up with being first Manchester City's and then Liverpool's understudy, they crave the lead. But defeat to title rivals Liverpool has dented their early season optimism and led to Arteta repositioning them as the unlikely hero in the grand old drama. They have more flair now, some of it brought in by Edu, who in an intriguing subplot returns as the technical director of Nottingham Forest today. Stuart Pearce is alongside me in the commentary box. Arsenal have assembled some cast. How have your old club got to attack this new retooled Arsenal?
I think they'll do what they've been doing pre-Ange. The counter-attack threat has got to be, a big tool in their armoury, to be fair. I think Wood holding it up and being that Johnny on the spot in the box, and you know whenever you take an Arsenal team on, whether it is in my era back at Highbury or here, you've got to defend well, Sam.
Well, 13 days ago, the Premier League paused on a bit of a cliffhanger. Nuno Espirito Santo, would he stay or would he go? Arsenal, can they get that attack firing? Well, one of those has been answered. The rest of the story develops in the latest episode of the greatest drama in the world. This is the Premier League. The two teams look like this. Arsenal with Raya in goal, Timber, Mosquera, Gabriel and Calafiori. Zubamendi is the holder in midfield with Marino and Odegaard encouraged to join the attack. Madueke and Eze supporting Gyökeres up front, and Nottingham Forest have got Sells in goal. Williams, Murillo, Milenkovic and Morato making his first appearance of the season. Sangare and Anderson in midfield. Ndoye, Gibbs-White and Hudson-Odoi behind Wood in attack. The Nottingham Forest players go over towards their supporters away to our right-hand side, and the Arsenal fans get ready to sing the theme tune. Red-body jerseys with white sleeves, white shorts, attacking the goal to our right, the clock end. Nottingham Forest in their chain strip of navy shorts and white shorts, socks, attacking the goal away to our left-hand side, which is the North Bank. Stuart Pearce was the last Nottingham Forest manager to win his first Premier League game in charge during his caretaker spell in December 1996. He started with a victory over Arsenal. And you just wonder, Stuart, what the first moments will tell us about Postecoglou's influence on this team.
Yeah, it certainly will. I'm intrigued to see how he gets the team playing. Obviously, Forest is one of those teams I keep an eye on pretty regularly. But Arsenal themselves, we can't lose track. They've got to bounce back after this defeat at Liverpool a couple of weeks ago and had a long time to sit and stew on that result.
Morato, the big, tall, hunking Brazilian that comes out and plays left back today, is a throw-in on halfway in that white shirt for Nottingham Forest, throws it down the line, flicked on by Gibbs-White into the inside left channel. No one there for Nottingham Forest. It runs through to David Raya, who's making his 100th appearance for Arsenal today and celebrates his 30th birthday in the week. And actually, when talking about the noise about Madueke on social media, Mikel Arteta also addressed in his press conference the noise that he got about signing David Raya. Ball pinched by Milenkovic, who just got there ahead of Gyökeres and sent them on the attack. Lovely ball by Hudson-Odoi into Gibbs-White, who tries a reverse ball through the penalty area, which is cut out on the edge of the box by Zubamendi. Recycled towards the right-hand side as Forest go on the attack again. And then Nico Williams shuffles it back to Elliot Anderson, who is immediately harassed by Victor Gyökeres, but works the ball back to Milenkovic, who was sent off playing for Serbia in midweek. They're deep inside their own half here, Nottingham Forest, and a first touch of the ball for Matt Sells in their goal away to our right-hand side. Ball cannoned forward by Murillo. He's lumped that right down the inside left channel. It's too hefty for Callum Hudson-Odoi, and it runs all the way through to the Arsenal goalkeeper. 0-0. Yeah,
Forest not shy in pressing on. Arsenal building in their own half at the moment and from goal kicks, and Forest squeezing on. Milenkovic done extremely well there with the forward pass, just jumped in front of his man and secured the ball.
Nottingham Forest line, when they're pressing high up on David Raya's goal, is about 5 yards inside their own half, and that is Nottingham Forest pushing right up to the halfway line. Here is Odegaard just deep inside his own territory, sends it out wide towards the left. Forest drop now into a sort of mid-block, and the ball is out towards the far side, and Eze tries to turn. He's been snapped at his heels by Nico Williams. It goes all the way back to Gabriel, who's got Mosquera as his partner today. I think they were pretty impressed with that. And the referee has called a foul for an infringement on Eze.
I think this game, Sam, will be won and lost in the full-back areas for Forest. Out wide here, Madueke, Eze. I think if they can put the Forest full-backs on the back foot, that will certainly tip the game in Arsenal's favour. Aggressive start by Nottingham Forest, and Arsenal have given the ball away again rather cheaply from that free-kick position. Referee today, by the way, Darren England. VAR Andy Madley. Ball sent wide out towards Williams, who tries to clip it down the right-hand side. There's a collision over on the far side, which involves Dan Ndoye
and Calafiori. The referee doesn't give a free kick. Dan Ndoye has gone down. He doesn't look in particularly fine fettle, and Arsenal continue to play the ball forward out to the wide left position. They're inside Forest half with Eze back to halfway. Postecoglou wants the game to be stopped. Eventually, now as it goes back to the halfway line, Darren England is going to accede to those demands. Mikel Arteta immediately calls Jurrien Timber over towards the near touchline because he wants to get a bit of instruction onto the team. They've been called on the physios to deal with Dan Ndoye, but Dan Ndoye, as soon as the game was stopped, has got back to his feet. Now the Arsenal crowd unhappy about that because they're suggesting he was feigning injury to get the game stopped. Darren England has sent him off the pitch now to receive his treatment, which means he's not going to be allowed to come back on for at least 30 seconds.
Yeah, he's ended up getting caught on the back of his calf light and it's ripped his sock, but you knew when the player was on the floor, he looks up and sees what's going on with the play behind him, then carries on rolling round. And the referees are under so much pressure, they don't want to get any decisions wrong, so they have to stop the game. They're not directed to do so, but they do.
Fourth start in a row for Dan Ndoye. Langer's replacement effectively. He's made an impact, 1 assist against Crystal Palace and a goal on the opening day against Brentford. He signed from Bologna for 34 million quid. And they have spent a bit of money this summer, Nottingham Forest. They've replenished the squad again as they look to kick on and try and achieve even more than they did last season. Little step over by Eze, very good. Into Gyökeres, a return to Marino, edge of the penalty area. Now it's with Ødegaard for Arsenal, into the box, right through the middle, tries to feed it into Eze. Well watched by Sangare and cleared away by Nottingham Forest towards the halfway line. 6 minutes into the game, 0-0 the score. This is Talksport. Madueke has it now, attacking down the right flank for Arsenal. Gets to the edge of the penalty area, left-footed ball in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, too high for Timber, away by Murillo, who heads it out into the midfield area, and Nottingham Forest try to clear. But Madueke immediately on the front foot and immediately trying to cause problems down this right flank, where it was so dangerous for England in the international break.
Yeah, I was just about to criticise him. He received the ball earlier and had the opportunity to turn and go forward and kept it simple, went backwards, just about to sort of put that into words when he picked the ball up and drove at his fullback. Good play.
Jurrien Timber on this near touchline, taking a throw in halfway inside Nottingham Forest territory. Chris Wood, who has come back, by the way, from a rather long journey. He was playing for New Zealand against Australia twice in the international break, so a 24,000-mile round trip, has just come rather late into the back of Gabriel and thrust him to the floor with an aggressive challenge from behind, which generates Arsenal a free kick. Now, no Declan Rice today to take their set pieces, so Ødegaard is moving over to take this one. Left-footed, he'll arc this one into the penalty area. It's from the right side of the Nottingham Forest half. It's midway inside their territory, and it is 0-0. And we've played just over 6.5 minutes. Here is Ødegaard, who had a good international break, didn't he, with Norway. I think they only won about 11-1 against Moldova.
Not a bad result.
Not a bad result. Ball sent in by Ødegaard. In towards Trossard, comes back out towards Moreno, who has his shot blocked by a brilliant save from Sells, who repels it towards the edge of the penalty area. Great chance for Moreno to give the home team the lead. Didn't quite come off for him. There's a problem here on the edge of the box, though, for an Arsenal player who's gone down inside the D. And Martin Ødegaard is clutching his shoulder. The play's developed up towards the halfway line. Madueke's done brilliantly to keep hold of it. It's been sent down the outside of the box, looking for Gyökeres. Little touch out for a corner, and Arsenal have a set piece. But what a save from Matt Sells, from Mikel Merino, as the ball broke from that set piece into the path of the Spaniard, who had such a productive international break with his national team. And he probably can't believe that he hasn't put Arsenal in front.
No, he certainly can't. Brilliant goalkeeping. He's come out, he's spread his body, he's almost saved it under his armpit, if you like. Really good. Morello was behind him, just trying to guard anything that went past him, but at that distance you expect to score. But Moreno has had a shot on target.
I didn't want to say anything.
For those just tuned in, that was part of Sam's bet before the game, so that particular...
We still got a little way to go.
Plenty of a way to go.
8 minutes gone, 0-0 the score. You're listening to Talksport. Martin Ødegaard's getting a little bit of treatment. After that Liverpool loss, actually, Arsenal really want to get things back on track. This game against Forest is the perfect chance for them to show that their replenished and retooled attack can fire. Forest will be looking to try and shake off what was a pretty dull result and performance against West Ham and try and display Postecoglou's influence here today. They started quite brightly actually, but Arsenal just clipped into the gear in the last few moments. What will be of concern to Mikel Arteta is that injury that Ødegaard seems to have suffered here as the physio comes on, gives him treatment and then walks him towards the near side, is a shoulder problem again, and he's only just recovered from that.
Yeah, it's always dangerous. I mean, spent a bit of time around the world of jockeys, and they have a lot of shoulder problems, and you know full well once you've got one of them you seem to just fall on it all the time almost. Yeah, he seems a little bit, he's
tentative.
Right in front of us. Yeah, that's the word I'd use.
Oxford United have taken the lead at home against Leicester on Talksport 2. Will Lancashire, on loan from Tottenham Hotspur, has got the goal. And Leicester have had a reasonably good start to the season. Here's Madueke chipping the ball under the goalkeeper, and the header by Gabriel is narrowly wide.
What a beautiful corner that was. He's just literally 8-ironed it, and he just chipped it into the box with a little bit of curl coming in towards the goalkeeper. Took the near post man out, and it was a really good near post header. But what it needed was just a skim off the head. He's got too much contact under pressure, Gabriel.
Yeah, well, Gabriel, fantastic in terms of attacking set pieces, and Arsenal are attacking set pieces with gusto again this season. 4 of their 6 goals this campaign have come from that method, and since the start of the 2023-24 season, they've scored 42 Premier League goals from set pieces. Here's Madueke down the right, just a heavy touch as the ball was played into him in the right wing position, just took him away from Morato, and it ended up going behind for a goal kick. But he also seems to have started with a bit of zip in his boots, Noni Madueke, and still Ødegaard just holding that right shoulder, Stuart.
Yeah, no, it don't look good, does it? He's just clutching his arm just in close to his body, isn't he? You know, you can tell there's a bit of discomfort there. And Madueke, and the form he's on at the moment, new club, want to impress. He should be roaring to his teammates, give me the ball, I'm going to go and take him on.
Well, Mikel Arteta was very praiseworthy of Ange Postecoglou, but don't want to be too generous here and give the ball away to them, which is what Arsenal have done. It's picked up by Hudson-Odoi, sent out to Dan N'Doye, low ball into the penalty area and smothered by David Raya, who was down very quickly at his near post, but he wants to get them on the front foot, quick, smart. And it's bowled out to Ødegaard, and then who gives it up to Madueke on the halfway line, touching almost the chalk of the white line on this near side in front of Mikel Arteta. Goes back infield, and it's collected now by Marino, and then into Zubamendi, back out to the far side, and then just a little overstretch from Gabriel, who almost gave the ball away. Eze forward, plays it against the defender, it goes out for a throw-in to Arsenal over on the far side. The Nottingham Forest fans in the far corner away to us in this huge bowl of a stadium, this 60,000 seater on the edge of North London. An atmospheric stadium when it's at its very, very best as well. Especially nowadays, the Arsenal fans have done a lot to try and amp up the atmosphere in here.
Just looking at the width of these two Arsenal wide men, you know, Madueke one side, Eze the other, and they've literally using up the whole pitch.
Madueke again attacking from wide right, gets past Morata really easy, clips the ball to the far post. Marino coming underneath it, it's just too high for him, and it goes right the way through the 6-yard box and out the other side. It was delicious from Noni Madueke, a lovely cross by the England man, and it took out the goalkeeper and all the defenders.
I'll tell you what, Sam, they put Morata out here to defend Madueke. Wrong man for the job. He literally, it's a mismatch out here, and if you're Arsenal, after what I've just seen, keep supplying this kid the ball and encourage him to take on.
What a start he has had to his career with England, by the way. 5 goal involvements in 9 international games. Star of the show in Belgrade. He moved to North London for 52 million quid after playing for Chelsea at the Club World Cup. And I tell you what, 52 million quid looks like a very good deal, the way things have started. Here is Eze far side, cutting in on his right foot, wants to try and switch the play, instead goes back to the halfway line. Arsenal have enjoyed a lot of possession after the early fast start from Nottingham Forest, where they pressurised Arsenal high up the pitch. They've dropped into a lower block now, Nottingham Forest, on the edge of their own penalty area. They're trying to get out as the ball goes back to the halfway line. Mosquera under pressure from Wood. Tucks it back to David Raya. Wasn't the most confident of back passes, and it's clipped from the right full-back position, and then a hesitancy from Morato, and Gyökeres has nipped the ball off him and sent it to Eze on the edge of the penalty area. His right-footed shot takes a little deflection and bobbles all the way through to Matt Sells. But Morato is struggling not only with Madueke but with Victor Gyökeres' strength too.
In all honesty, Sam, I do wonder about, I think players are very well educated and very well coached, and game understanding's a good thing, but at certain times in game action, I'm not sure players pick up all the keys and whatever. Hudson-Odoi's not worked out that he's got to get back and front up Madueke to help his fullback out. He's saying, you go and deal with him, I'm going to tuck inside. That is going to kill Forest today. And Madueke himself has got to say, I've got this fella on toast, give me the ball for goodness sake, and the rest of the players have got to keep supplying him with it.
No, I don't even understand what he was doing there, Morato, allowing the ball to drop over his shoulder and bounce with Gyökeres in close proximity. That's a pretty basic thing not to do, isn't it?
Well, that was just one element of it. I'm looking now, Arsenal are building up from the back. If I was Arsenal, I would be getting the ball into Madueke every opportunity I can. But there seems to be we build up and play whatever we see.
Odegaard's got it in the inside right channel. He did have the opportunity to play it out to Madueke there and didn't give him the ball. Instead he went down the inside right channel looking to feed Gyökeres, when really it was much better served to send it out towards the former Chelsea man who was in acres of space, as Stuart has been saying. 15 gone, it's goalless. You're listening to Talksport. Arsenal against Nottingham Forest with Sky Sports, and don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly, like West Ham versus Tottenham live today. Search Now Sports. Mistake by Odegaard, bounces for Elliot Anderson, and one back by Gibbs White on the halfway line, forward by Williams down the right hand side, the right fullback looking to try and feed the winger, the wispy winger Dan Ndoye, who looks a little bit isolated out over on that far side. He's not getting back to help his fullback out, and Eze is coming forward, well anticipated by Murillo, who went up and ate that ball up in front of Odegaard, who still doesn't look comfortable with that right arm. Timber moves forward down the right into Madueke. Here he goes again, starts to run at Callum Hudson-Odoi, who's got back at him this time, keeps it alive, but across comes Elliot Anderson to snuff out the attack, and Jurrien Timber will take a throw in from this near side. Leicester City have equalised on Talksport 2. Download our app. You can listen to this game right now with Adam Bridge. Oxford United 1, Leicester 1. Jordan Ayew with the goal after 13 minutes. 0-0 in all the other games, including Charlton, Millwall and Preston against Middlesbrough. Problem for Odegaard, he's going to have to be substituted.
Yeah, it didn't look good. You picked up on that, Sam, even after the physios had given him a bit of treatment and whatever. He was nursing that arm, clutching it close to his body, and he's lasted another 5 minutes and had to go off by the looks of things. But let's go back to that Morato situation. He's not got his positional play right. He's tucked in too far, allowing Madueke to get the ball. And once he runs at you, you're in big trouble. You've got to say to the Arsenal players, you can't play it to Madueke. I'm too tight to him.
Well, they've had a bit of an issue with injuries, haven't they, in the early part of the season. Obviously, Saliba not available today. Havertz has got an injury. Bukayo Saka not yet available, though he is getting better slowly. And now they've lost once more Martin Odegaard with another shoulder problem. He's going to be replaced by Ethan Nwaneri, the 18-year-old who was born after the Emirates Stadium had opened. Very popular here. And he comes on and he'll take his place in that advanced midfield position.
Are you surprised Declan's not come on?
Well, I am a little bit, because it would make sort of like-for-like sense, but they obviously have there's a reason why they've protected Declan today, and I don't know whether or not that's because of the arduous nature of his international break, or whether it's because they're saving him for Tuesday, or he's picked up a little knot, I don't know. But that would have been the obvious choice, wouldn't it? But, you know, it's good to see Nwaneri getting some minutes under his belt, because in the early part of the season he hasn't seen a lot of action, and he is a talent. And that's what Arsenal have got. They've got a very good squad now. Marino wins it on halfway, tucks it back to Mosquera. He feeds the ball back to his goalkeeper in his bright yellow goalkeeping jersey. Plays the ball just slightly to his right, and Mosquera will look to build up once again. Bradford City have taken the lead against Huddersfield in League One. And Bobby Poynton with the goal after 18 minutes there. Here it's still goalless on Talksport.
Yeah, just looking at Forest, in comparison to last year, they're defending as well as they have been so far in this game, but the only thing I would say is they've not got that counter-attack threat as we saw of last year with Elanga. I think he's a real miss, I really do.
Bradford City were one of the promoted last season from League Two, lost last week against Doncaster. Here's Waneri. Forest has switched off. He's picked the ball up and run into the penalty area. He's got support from Madueke, and on the overlap is Timber. He just couldn't find him. And Waneri just scurries out towards the near side, but Forest again switching off there. A quick free kick taken, and Waneri was away, and he knows he's just not been able to get that ball into Yuri and Timber, and there's a bit of frustration between the two. 0-0.
Yeah, I think there was a frustration in the crowd as well, because when he drove in the box, I thought he was just going to drop a shoulder and unload a shot to the far post, but he turned the opportunity down.
Well, we're hoping for goals in this game, but we do have last season's two goalkeepers who shared the Golden Glove. David Raya and Matt Sells each kept 13 Premier League clean sheets so far last season, and so far today Matt Sells has been called upon more than Raya. He's made a really good save from Marino. Here is Madueke, who's had a good start to the game, teasing his way down the right. Gyökeres tries to tuck it around the corner. Murillo was wise to that, bundles past him and manages to clear, but there's no one ahead of him. Actually, once he carried the ball into the midpoint of the Arsenal half, travelling down the left side of it, he punted the ball forward and there wasn't a white shirt in sight.
No, just a little bit worried about getting caught with the ball, so he decided just turn Arsenal around and take my position again.
Here is Yuri and Timber down the right again. Madueke, no one close to him. Morato can't get near him. He's twisting, he's turning, he's produced a cross into the penalty area. Marino coming in underneath it, so was Gyökeres. And Gyökeres actually ended up taking it away from Marino, who might have been better placed to come on to that rather than it just hit the head of the Swede.
Yeah, it's probably not a natural position for Morata, but he's doing exactly what you don't need to do as a fullback. If you fear a wide player, you've got to get extra tight to him and send a message out to his Arsenal colleagues. You cannot play it to his feet because I'll arrive when the ball does. At the moment, it's like the analogy is the electric fence. If you dangle your fingers at it, it will blow you off your feet. If you grab hold of it, you just might tolerate the pain. They are a little farming analogy for you there. You learn something new.
Have you done it?
Yes, I have done it.
There's no shock to me that that is what came out of your mouth after that question was asked.
Yes, and there was a shock to me, make no mistake.
Here's Waneri down this right-hand side into Madueke. Madueke trying to get on the end of the ball, but it flicks off Elliot Anderson and goes out on this near side. You're listening to Talksport. Sam Munderface and Stuart Pearce at the Emirates Stadium this lunchtime. Tomorrow we'll take you around the grounds with Natalie Sawyer from 1:30 on Game Day Live this afternoon. 2:30, Adrian will take you around the grounds with Troy Deeney, Mickey Gray. He's got all the Premier League and EFL action, including Newcastle against Wolves, Everton, Aston Villa, Fulham against Leeds, plus the only classified results service on the radio. Here's Madueke, who's trying to influence the result here, looking to take on Murillo, who had to show strength and guile, and just about the right timing to hook the ball away from the England international, who has started this game superbly.
Yeah, I think from a coaching aspect, the one thing I would say about teams, the really, really top teams identify very quickly where the weak point is in the opposition. I'm not sure Arsenal have really identified that Morata is having a disaster against Madueke, and Madueke's persona has not been to his teammates, I need the ball and I need it quick.
Here he is taking the set piece, the corner kick from this right-hand side, left-footed corner. It's a good one, right into the middle of the 6-yard box. Comes back out to Waneri, who smashes it goalwards. It's blocked by Elliot Anderson, and it's repelled towards the midpoint of the Nottingham Forest half. Zubimendi into the penalty area this time, away by Milenkovic. Forest camped inside their own territory at the moment. Dan Ndoye trying to get them out, but across comes Calafiori, and the tackle puts the ball out for a throw-in over on the far side. Preston have taken the lead against the leaders Middlesbrough. Goal to nil. Lewis Dobbin with the goal. Middlesbrough having a great start to the season. Leicester have had a man sent off down at the Kazam Stadium, and that game continues over on Talksport 2. Aaron Ramsey, who's only just arrived, has been sent off after 24 minutes. Here on Talksport, it's 0-0 between Arsenal and Nottingham Forest, and Nottingham Forest, after starting the game with a bit of intensity and pushing high up onto Arsenal, have just retreated, although they do have a free kick here given against Zubimendi for a foul on Elliot Anderson, just shy of the centre circle, right of the halfway line.
Yeah, I'm just going back to some of Madueke's corners that he's put in. I tell you what, they're so dangerous. He's just putting a little bit of curl on it, but no weight on the ball at all. So if you're a forward, it encourages you to attack it. It's probably about 4 or 5 yards out from goal. As a defender, you can't put any pace on the ball and clear it out the box because it's got no pace on. It's fading, it's dying.
Here's the free kick, just taken right of the centre circle by Brazilian Murillo. Mikel Arteta is almost inside his team's half of the field, trying to move the chess pieces around. Murillo's free kick is high and long towards Milenkovic. It's headed away by Jurrien Timber, who does very well against the muscular Milenkovic to wrestle him despite the disparity in height, and it's out for a throw-in down the left side for Nottingham Forest.
Yeah. He defended him really well there, but the ball into him, he was backpedaling trying to head it, Milenkovic, where really the ball should have been probably about 5 to 10 yards in front of him, and said get a head of steam up and attack it.
Long ball forward by Matt Sells into the chest of wood, tries to hold off Mosquera, brings Callum Hudson-Odoi into play, back into the middle, and it's a foul by Madueke on Elliot Anderson. Free kick, and they look to recycle the ball again. Nottingham Forest trying to get a bit of rhythm in the game again, with Gibbs White trying to send it down the right-hand side. Chasing Nico Williams, goes firing towards the ball, but it was too hefty, ran out of room, couldn't keep it in. It goes out for a goal kick away to our left, and Arsenal have possession once again. Now, Ange Postecoglou's personal record here isn't particularly good at the Emirates. He's never beaten Arsenal, and Forest's away record here is pretty weak too, having failed to score in 3 of the last 4 trips to this stadium, and haven't won away at Arsenal since Highbury days. Gyökeres, lovely touch in towards Mikel Merino down the left-hand side, who bounds forward into the left wing position. He's got Tutueman in the centre. Zubimendi has trotted into the middle, and he's just checked back, and that's caused a bit of frustration. The crowd wanted him to get the ball into the box quicker and earlier, but he declined that invitation and went back to the halfway line.
Yeah, as I say, I think sometimes you've got to listen to the crowd. Just put your head down, pop it in the box, put it into a danger zone, and if you don't get first contact, I'm sure that they probably, with players arriving, would have secured second contact.
Big London derby in the Championship. Charlton 0, Millwall 0. Oxford 1, Leicester 1. Leicester down to 10 players on Talksport 2. Preston lead Middlesbrough by a goal to 0 in the Championship this lunchtime. Middlesbrough top of the table at the start of the day and had a good beginning to the season. They won their opening 4 league games for the first time in 31 years under Rob Edwards, but they're behind today at Deepdale. Here's Madueke, Nwaneri, bit of space for Zubimendi, who canters down the right side towards the edge of the box, gives it to Eza inside the area, pops it up onto his right foot. Wasn't a great ball, tries to get a shot away. It's blocked by Dan Ndoye, who comes back to help out the defence. It spirals out the other side towards the left-hand side of the penalty area, and for a throw in which Jurrien Timber will take. 0-0 the score.
Yeah, these wide areas are a real concern for Forest, but I'll tell you what they have done well, Sam. Every time there's been a shot, they've got a good blocking in the box, and that's something they're going to have to do continually.
Ball collected by Nwaneri, tries to move it out to the far side, but doggedly being watched and harassed by Anderson. Back into Eze. Eze across to Merino. Merino all the way to halfway, and Arsenal retain possession. The sunshine comes out at the Emirates Stadium. Mosquera wearing a long sleeve Arsenal jersey, plays it to Timber, into Zubimendi, back to Gyökeres, or heavy touch. Almost gave it away, but it rebounded kindly for Madueke, who sends Gyökeres down the right side. His cross is blocked by Murillo, and it's out for another corner to Arsenal. 28 gone, they've racked up the corners, they've racked up the chances, but they're still awaiting the breakthrough at the Emirates.
They certainly are. This central defender partnership of Milenkovic and Murillo are at full stretch at the moment, but they're dealing with it, making last gasp challenges, blocks, you name it, but Arsenal are continually asking questions.
Madueke trying to test the set-piece defending of Nottingham Forest. It was a problem for Ange, wasn't it, at Tottenham at times. Left-footed ball in towards the near post, and it's headed over the top by Timber. Well, he says that it took a little flick over from Milenkovic, and the referee has concurred that that's the case. But Jurrien Timber, who's scored 2 goals here in the last home game against Leeds, so close to another. Yeah,
these corners are horrible to defend. I don't know if you can remember, as Gary McAllister used to chip them into the near post with no weight on them at all. And you can't get rid of it at the danger zone. There's not enough natural pace on it as a defender to get good contact and make distance.
Well, Madueke and Nwaneri just involved in a deep conversation down in front of us as they attempt to get another corner into the box here. Madueke places it down on the edge of the quadrant and then raises his right arm in the air, left-footed a little bit deeper this time. It's headed away by Maria. That was a strong header that time from the Brazilian. Comes back out to Madueke again. Another left-footed cross, arcing towards the far post. Goalkeeper comes and does get something on it, but wasn't confident. He flapped it out straight for a corner on the other side. And Arsenal have yet another set piece to try and increase the pressure on Nottingham Forest defence.
Yeah, I think Sells was a bit undecided whether to leave it and let it go out of play. He was right on the byline, beyond the far post, but the fear factor of Gabriel coming in and around him probably made sure and put it out for a corner.
Just upping the ante here, Arsenal, as we get towards the latter part of the first half. Nearly half an hour gone. Ball swung in deep towards the far post and flapped away again by Sells from Eze's corner. Madueke has picked it up right side, looks to try and tease it away from Dan Ndoye, beats him, gets into the penalty area, gets to the byline, still going, pokes it back. Oh, Murillo comes in and takes it off the toes of Jurrien Timber right at the very last. It was brilliant from Madueke, taking the ball down the side of the box, beating Dan Ndoye, getting to the byline and running across it and into the penalty area, setting the ball back for Jurrien Timber and Gyökeres, who were both coming onto it, but it was dealt with by Murillo and he puts it behind for a corner.
Well, I've got to say, we talked about Murillo getting last gasp challenges in. Another one, brilliant. I mean, great wing play there by Madueke. And he's pulled it back, just waiting for it to ripple the back of the net. And in he come from nowhere and got a brilliant block on. He's done fantastic so far.
He really has. This is Talksport.
Morato's limping around as well. I think he's one of those, please get me off.
I think he's got a bruised ego.
We've all had the run around from a quick winger in our time.
Yes. Corner kick on this near side. Taken by Madueke. Gabriel being marshalled by Dan Ndoye inside the penalty area. The corner this time towards the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away by Chris Wood. Comes back out, whacked in beautifully by Zubamendi. What a finish on the volley from the edge of the D. It flashes past Matt Sells, and Arsenal have the breakthrough, and they have the breakthrough in stunning style. Arsenal 1, Nottingham Forest 0. Martin Zubamendi with his first goal for the club. It's a terrific finish. They don't come much better than that.
Well, Forest have defended manfully in and around their box and in the box with blocks and the like. But on this occasion, they managed to get good clearance on the corner outside the box. But Zubamendi come onto it, hit it like a hitch kick, if you like, with his right foot, outside of the right foot. It's flown into the roof of the net. A brilliant, brilliant finish.
It's a crackerjack finish from Martin Zubamendi. He has caught that beautifully, and Matt Sells, I think maybe because it came through a crowd of players, didn't see it perfectly, but by the time he registered it was coming in his direction, it was already beyond him and ripping into the net.
Yeah, I thought it was in a corner, but actually it's gone straighter than we thought, straight and a slight deflection. I think there was a skim on a forehead, and it's took it away from Sells and into the back of the net.
Well, it's been coming, hasn't it?
Yeah, pressure-wise, it certainly has been coming. And there's more problems for Forest now.
Yeah, well, Murillo, who actually I thought might have hurt himself when he was sandwiched between Gyökeres and Jurrien Timber, is now rubbing the top of his thigh, I think it is, that he's got a problem here. 1-0 to the Arsenal is going around the Emirates Stadium. They're celebrating. There's concern on the face of Ange Postecoglou, who might have to deal with another injury.
Yeah, as I say, it's been really tough. You know, sometimes you think you weathered the storm a little bit, and well, a goal like that comes about. Great strike, get it on target and see what happens. I think there was a really slight skim off a Forest forehead on the way that took it away from the goalkeeper slightly, but Murillo going down might be worse news than the goal hitting the back of the net.
Well, treatment being applied to him. All the rest of the players have come over for a drinks break. Charlton 0, Millwall 0 in the Championship. Over on Talksport 2, it's Oxford United 1, Leicester City 1. Leicester down to 10 players. Preston 1, Middlesbrough 0. Middlesbrough start the day top of the table and having their best start to a league campaign in 31 years. In League One, and newly promoted Bradford lead Huddersfield by a goal to 0. Northampton 0, Blackpool 0. Kevin Nolan's Northampton Town. In League 2, Accrington 0, Colchester 0 and Crawley 0, Cheltenham 0. It's currently Arsenal 1, Nottingham Forest 0. The latest odds are available at Betfair, with the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage, are offering right now Arsenal 8-1 on to win the game, Forest 25-1. The draw is 7-1. That's all thanks to Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sub from Betfair. 18+, begambleaware.org. This is Talksport, and Arsenal lead by a goal to 0 thanks to Zubamendi.
Yeah, Murillo limping around on the touchline here, not filling the Forest fans with much confidence, but I think he's coming back on. But I would fully expect Forest to be warming up a sub just in case. This doesn't look good.
Sangare is just dropping into the back four whilst they cover this absence. They do have defenders on the bench. Willy Bolly is on the bench. Nicola Savana is also on the bench. He's more of a fullback really, but he's a huge fullback. Here is Calafiori trying to twist and turn down the left-hand side as Arsenal come forward again, leading by a goal to 0 on Talksport. Forward by Gabriel, cannons into Williams, ball spirals out to the far side and level with the edge of the penalty area, wide on the left. It's a throw-in to Arsenal in those red-bodied shirts, blood-red shirts, white sleeves, white shorts and red socks, attacking the goal away to our right. The noise inside the stadium is amped up a bit. This is what Arsenal love. This is what Mikel Arteta wants. He wants noise, he wants atmosphere, he wants them on the front foot and putting teams under pressure. They're certainly putting Nottingham Forest under pressure. Calafiori catapults the ball into the near post, headed away by Milenkovic, kept alive by Marino, hit by Zubamendi again. It's a dipping volley over the bar. Well, Zubamendi, he's got a taste for it, all right. It just dropped out of the sky nicely for him once more, and he hit it on the laces of the foot, and it just dropped right at the last, but that last wasn't last enough, and it just went over the top of the crossbar.
No, he got himself in a very, very similar position for the as the goal slightly earlier, but you've got to be really patient waiting for those to come down. Not a technique that I mastered over my career, sadly. Too impatient.
Yeah, it's not me neither. Impatience definitely a thing of mine. Yeah.
I got so bored with it I thought, I'll just edit.
Look, I tell you what, I don't think they can show much more patience with Murillo. He's got to come off, hasn't he? He's going to be replaced here. On comes Nicola Savona, and a first appearance in Forest colours for him. Italy under-21 international, right back really. He was at Juventus.
And that's where he's going.
11.2 million quid. I think that means they'll reconfigure with Williams going to left back and Morata and Milenkovic in the centre.
Morata has just sent a message up to me saying thank goodness for that.
So the last thing he wanted to deal with was Madueke. Does mean that Savona's first task in the Premier League is to deal with Eberici Eze, which again is not an easy task, is it? With 8 minutes to go before half-time. You're listening to Talksport. Martin Odegaard has already been replaced, and now Forest have been forced into a substitution as well, with Murillo being switched out by Savona because of injury. Forest have a free kick here, which are going to be taken by Elliot Anderson, 10 yards inside Arsenal territory. It's a high one, which is dripped towards the far post. Looking for Milenkovic, push on Eza. That's going to be a free kick. Accrington Stanley lead Colchester United by a goal to nil. Isaac Sinclair, after 32 minutes, has put the home team in front of the Crown Ground. It's Accrington who lead in that game in League 2 against Colchester after 32 minutes. Arsenal lead here is Eze from Marino. Back to Marino again. Lovely ball out to Gyökeres. Good football by Arsenal, keeping the ball well. They've applied their pressure well here this lunchtime on Ange Postecoglou's Nottingham Forest. It's been a bit of a baptism of fire for the new Nottingham Forest gaffer. The briefest of flickers at the start of the game, but it's been all Arsenal pretty much since the 5th or 6th minute of this match. And Matt Sells had to come to their rescue with a Marino effort from a set piece. They've had an inordinate number of corners, and then Zubamendi with a flying hit, a wonderful volley which flashed past Sells before he could even register its interest. Ball sent long by David Raya, looking to try and bring Madueke into play down this right side, but it's just shuffled out by Williams. It's going to be a throw into Nottingham Forest. How do you think that Nottingham Forest will react to going that goal down, Stuart?
I think, in all honesty, they've got a counter-attack on here, Sam.
Dan Ndoye has picked it up and he's gone past Calafiori. He's into wide open space on the right-hand side, but his ball into the box is poor. His right-footed cross from deep inside opposition territory was just overhit, and it flies out and away for a goal kick away to our left. 1-0 to Arsenal.
Yeah, in answer to your question, I think Forest are just in the hands of Arsenal now. Arsenal are dictating the tempo of the game. They're the ones in the ascendancy, and they're the ones that have got the key to this game. I think the injury, whilst Murillo going off, is a real blow. The fact that they got Williams out this side dealing with Madueke now might be helpful to them.
A more accomplished fullback trying to deal with a very tricky winger seems a more sensible arrangement. That's given away by Jurrien Timber. Sangari sends the ball forward quickly onto Dan Ndoye, and Ndoye starts to canter up down the right-hand side. Savona goes on the overlap, gets there and tries to push it into the penalty area. Marino had to track him and has put it behind. It's out for a corner to Nottingham Forest. That was a very quick dart forward by Nicola Savona, the 21-year-old Italian.
Yeah, great surging run and decent pass into him. Probably slightly overhit. Made Moreno I think he was attempting to shepherd it out of play, but just got a touch on it and give the corner away. I think you can see straight away with Williams, he's got his distances much better than Morato, who was so far away from who he's supposed to be marking.
Here is the corner then, over on the far side, taken by Anderson, an arcing one towards the edge of the penalty area. Brilliant header by Gabriel, really good strong header. Gets it right up towards the edge of the centre circle, and Forest are forced backwards towards their own goalkeeper. Good defending by Arsenal. Williams over halfway from the left full-back position, chased into submission by Eberici Eze, and then into Williams once more, who clips it forward, looks for Dan Ndoye, and Raya came and then hesitated and backpedaled slightly because Ndoye has got hold of it in the left wing position here, watched by Mosquera, onto Hudson-Odoi, who takes over left wing. Williams for support, guides it back infield. Hudson-Odoi travelling inside, gives it to Anderson. Good pressure from Nwaneri. And then Anderson picks it up, plays a ball down the left channel, doesn't reach his intended target, but then crunches into a tackle on Madueke and wins it back. Impressive in both games for England, Elliot Anderson. And the more you watch him, the more you get impressed with him. Here is Williams down the left-hand side again for Nottingham Forest.
You can definitely see in Forest games a little bit lacking without Elanga. That counter-attack just then was point in case. You know, and Ndoye's received the ball. He's one-on-one at the back of Arsenal's back line. If that was Elanga on the ball, all of a sudden he's running at his man, causing problems and probably supplying passes in the box for the likes of Wood at that stage.
Yeah, I mean, there was a sort of opportunity to sell him and make a bit of money on him. Dan Ndoye has come in his stead. The idea is the same, but not necessarily up to speed just yet. I'm not sure he's got the lightning pace of Elanga. Not many have, actually.
No, indeed. I mean, we saw Elanga, his ability to run with the ball and run without the ball was there for all to see, and he'll be a big miss this season.
You're listening to Arsenal 1, Nottingham Forest 0 on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. 3 minutes to go before half-time. And Arsenal have had a good start to the game here. Waneri, who's come on for Ødegaard, has won the ball back after a napping Sangare. Didn't realise he was coming. Played to Madueke, right side by Timber. Into the area, faces up Williams. Looks for a trick. Anderson comes across and snuffs out the danger again. And then tucks it back to Williams once more, who's down by the byline. Anderson under pressure from Timber. Back to Morato. He manages to clear up to halfway. Header by Mosquera. Drops for Gibbs-White kindly on the edge of the centre circle, and it's worked out wide towards the right-hand side, and it's now with Dan Ndoye. He travels down the right touchline. He's got support from his fullback, but he decides to go infield to Sangare. Now Savona gets it far side. Back to Sangare again. This is about halfway inside Arsenal territory. The long and lean Sangare turns the ball back to halfway. It's into Milenkovic and then across to Morato, and Forest just trying to keep the ball and maybe just get to half-time at 1-0, and then they can reconfigure. Charlton Athletic have taken the lead against Millwall. Sonny Carey with a goal 5 minutes before half-time. It's a big goal in South London. Foul, says Darren England, and it's going to be a free kick for Nottingham Forest just over the halfway line. Being a bit pernickety about where it has to be taken. It's quickly taken by Callum Hudson-Odoi. What will Ange Postecoglou think going in at half-time, having watched a first 45 minutes in charge of Forest?
Well, you learn something new about your players all the time. You know, I know he's put teams up against Forest, but when you're actually in charge of the team, you see slightly different things. I think it's been a tough first game. You won't judge a great deal here playing at the Emirates against an Arsenal team that have dominated this first half in many ways. The goal, probably, if it was a 2-goal advantage at this stage, you would say probably on the run of play and territory would be fair.
Ball hooked out from inside their own half by Arsenal. It's away for a throw-in level with the edge of the penalty area down the left side for Forest, who are on the attack here as we get towards the end of the first half. It'll be interesting to see how many minutes are added on at the end of the first 45. The fourth official is just going to add on 7, just the 7, as we come forward up towards Chris Wood. Bounces kindly for Elliot Anderson, and then taken on by Gibbs-White, who gets the return and into the penalty area, and Urian Timber with a challenge from the side just about makes an intervention enough to put Gibbs-White off right at the very last. Boy, oh boy, that was excellent from Nottingham Forest. They cut open Arsenal there on the edge of the box. Well, Gibbs-White did. Played the ball in towards the edge of the area. Got the return ball from Chris Wood. He'd made a lovely run, and Zubimendi had not gone with him. Luckily for Arsenal, Urian Timber was across just to apply the pressure. Yeah,
he certainly was. Good interchange. Anderson was the one who initiated the attack. Give the ball to Gibbs-White, and then from there, great 1-2. Best chance of the game for Forest.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that they are very good at, you know, maybe soaking up pressure a little bit better than they have done today, but then hitting very quickly when you least expect it, as Oxford United take a 2-1 lead. Boubacar Samare with an own goal just before half-time. That's over on Talksport 2, and Oxford United are in front again, having been paid back initially against 10-player Leicester City. Ange Postecoglou in charge of Nottingham Forest for the first time today. His team trailing by 1-0. Calafiori is coming to midfield for Arsenal to help the build, and they move down the right with Madueke now. He gets to the edge of the area, skips past Williams, produces a cross into the box looking for Marino. Didn't have the height on it. Morato likes to attack those sort of balls, and did, and thrust his forehead at the ball and managed to clear towards the halfway line. Just had a quick word with one or two of the Forest hierarchy yesterday, and Ange Postecoglou has definitely made a good impression over the first few days of his reign with Nottingham Forest. And he's a wrench for some of the players and some of the supporters, though, because only Brian Clough had a better win percentage than Nuno Espirito Santo of any Forest manager in the top flight of English football, which obviously does raise one or two eyebrows about why they made the change. Obviously, that we know the reasons. They think that they need a different style of play to nudge them on and get them further up the table. But you can understand why Nuno felt a little bit hard done by.
Yeah, to be fair. Listen, he'll come away from this with his reputation, I would say, enhanced since he's been at Forest, rather than you know, maintained. So there'll be another job just round the corner if he wants it.
And we're into the third of 7 added minutes at the end of the first half here on Talksport. And for all the fact that actually, I think enhancing the amount of possession that they have had in the early part of the season, Nottingham Forest, I'm not sure they've had much today in terms of possession and statistics. 41% today to 59 for Arsenal. Here is Eze over on the far side. They probably weren't expecting to have as much today. Eze down the left-hand side, trying to get to the byline. Gets to the byline, no ball in towards Gyökeres, who pokes the ball just narrowly wide of the post. It's an excellent move, and I don't know how Eze kept that in down that left-hand side, but he got to the byline and just about did. And then stretching, when I didn't think he was going to reach it, Gyökeres actually stuck out one of his very long limbs, and he just about got there, but couldn't poke it home.
Yeah, as I say, brilliant play by Eze on that wing again. Gone down, gone on the outside of the fullback. Milenkovic has gone across and thought he'd done enough in his own mind to get a block on the cross, and Eze slid it through his legs.
Well, what a chance for Arsenal, and actually I think they'll be a little bit disappointed that they're not further in front here.
Yeah, you would think so. It's always a volatile scoreline, just the 1-0, but they'll be pleased with their first half performance. The two wide players have been decent, and listen, they'll be just looking to get this second goal to put the game away from Forest.
There was so much discussion, wasn't there, in the build-up to the game about styles of play, and you know, these two managers obviously associated with different styles of play. Mikel Arteta accused of being a little bit too cautious at Liverpool the other day. Postecoglou accused of being too gung-ho. There was a bit of pushback from both actually when they were discussing it. They're all really concerned with winning games of football and trying to get over the line. In fact, when Mikel Arteta was pressed on whether or not he could explain his own DNA, he said, let's go for a blood test and we'll find out, eh?
Well, I would say from Arteta's point of view, his team have played with good style today and got on the front foot. And I would say Angie's team have not been gung-ho. I think they've been pretty pragmatic with their style of play.
Which kind of answers his question, really. 5 minutes into added time, 2 minutes to go. They're leading by a goal to nil here at the home team, Arsenal. And the goal coming from Zubimendi. And it was a beautiful goal, lovely goal to watch. And we were lucky enough to be almost level with the point where Zubimendi smashed it in from 25 yards. Past the stranded Matt Sells. Here's Sangare though for Nottingham Forest right at the end of the first half, trying to tuck it out towards the left. Then Dan Ndoye goes on the escape, gets into the left wing position, cuts it back into the middle where Morgan Gibbs-White, who's had the best chance for Forest, starts to try and pull some strings and get moving again. He plays it out to Williams. Williams on to Hudson-Odoi, and then Dan Ndoye trying to take on Calafiori, who's found himself in the right fullback position here. And Timber has just gone into the centre for a moment. Everyone just shuffled across. Elliot Anderson has the ball inside Arsenal territory, and Milenkovic, with a bit of room to move into, decides against that, gives it to Sangare and then plays it out wide to Savona. And then Arsenal just move across and try and shuffle them to halfway. But that's a good ball by Savona. And then Anderson has the time and the awareness and the ability to execute a great crossfield pass into Hudson-Odoi, who cuts in on his right foot, runs into a congested area. Back to Anderson, towards the left, looking to try and feed the ball into Morgan Gibbs-White, but the offside flag was up anyway. But it was a bit of enterprising football from Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, I think their build-up play, when they've had occasion to do so, has been pretty decent. Anderson's been integral in that, I've got to say. He's caught my eye once again today, but they've lacked that real power and energy, and as I say, I think they're lacking that Elanga type individual to really carry the fight to the opposition at this moment in time.
A few of the Arsenal supporters are off to get their half-time refreshments. They think that the job is done for this 45 minutes anyway. They're going to beat the queues at the sausage stand behind us. And David Raya kicks the ball long through the middle of the park, and there is the half-time whistle. And Arsenal haven't lost back-to-back games in the Premier League since December 2023, and they have absolutely zero plans to see that change this lunchtime. Their retooled attack has not quite been the ones that has delivered in that first 45 minutes, but it is one of their brand new players that certainly has. Martin Zubimendi, after a series of corners which really caused Nottingham Forest pressure, picked up the loose ball on the edge of the box after one was defended and sent it back with interest. Half-time at the Emirates. Arsenal 1, Nottingham Forest 0.
Yeah, Sam, thank you very much. Yeah, plenty of the crowd heading out for those half-time sausages, while we can be here chewing the fat, you and I, Stuart Pearce, over that first half, if you like. We saw glimmers of Nottingham Forest, glimmers in that final third when they managed to get the ball up there, but not very much. It's really been all Arsenal, hasn't it? They've dominated this.
Yeah, they played extremely well. The two wide players certainly was the case with Madueke early in the game when Morata was out here defending him, have got the beating of them. They've had a succession of corners, and Forest have done well to get blocks on in and around the goal mouth. But they couldn't stop Zubimendi when he unloaded one at the edge of the box. Probably the best clearance they've had from a corner cost them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you have to say that for Forest, it's definitely, it looks like, doesn't it, a work in progress. It looks like they're still trying to find their feet, but they are up against a formidable attack from this Arsenal side. I mean, it's been an onslaught, hasn't it? Particularly in those opening exchanges. Matt Sells, incredibly busy. Yeah,
he made it a super save early on, spread his body. Arsenal are a good side. You look across that front line, as you say, Odegaard's had to go off, but you throw him in the mix of creativity in the wide flanks, Gyökeres as well. Really good front line, and you're up against it when you come in, no matter what, at any given time, especially if you're a new manager into the fold as well, that Angie's. Probably the game's gone as we expected it to in many ways. Forest still in. They're only one goal down. They're still in the mix, but Arsenal look as though they could go on and win this by 2 or 3.
What do Forest need to do then? Because how do they get the ball? How do they thread it through? How do they get it to the likes of Gibbs-White, to the likes of Chris Wood, to try and get on the end? There were a couple, as I said, glimmers towards the end. How do they keep doing that?
I think when they do get these counter-attack options, they've got to thread the ball into Anderson. He's the conduit to get it into Gibbs-White, potentially. He's the one I think's been arguably Forest's best player out there.
He's been everywhere, hasn't he? All over the pitch.
I think he's done extremely well defensively and knitting things together. Gibbs-White's going to hold the key, likes those little give and goes. You know Wood's going to hold the ball up and bounce it off him. But I think the two wide players, Hudson-Odoi and Ndoye, have got to be better when a quick attack's on. I don't think that they've capitalised on that real quick attack. Get the ball, run into the channels, and they've sort of turned out on the odd occasion they've had the ball.
Are you surprised by that? Because when you look at the possession stats today, 41 after the first half, you know, it's not too dissimilar to the Nuno way, and they were very quick on the counter under Nuno. What do you think they're doing differently under Ange then?
I don't
Are they just being more cautious in themselves?
No, I think they're missing Elanga. I think he's dynamic pace on the counter and dynamic pace to run with the ball and run without it and front you up one-on-one. I mean, I remember
he was fearless, wasn't he?
Exactly. I remember seeing him running the ball from the edge of his box and scoring a goal at City Ground last year. The goal against Liverpool when they won up at Anfield. He is the ingredient that's missing slightly. You know, they've sold him for big money, but the bottom line is you've lost a real weapon in your armoury, especially if you're a sort of defensive side that play on the counter and don't dominate the ball. Yeah,
you need that one player who's quick, who's fast, and you can turn it in an instant. If you're Ange, what are you thinking? Any changes second half?
I don't think so. I think at the moment his team are still in the game. You know, what has he got off the bench that you think's going to make a real dynamic change at the moment? You know, I'm not so sure. Arsenal, on the other hand, you look at their bench and it is the bench of potential champions, maybe. Yeah. OK, all very exciting indeed. It's going to be an exciting weekend as the Premier League is back, of course, after the international break. And don't forget, Jeff Stelling and Alan McCoist will be back on Talksport Breakfast from Monday at 6 a.m. and they will be reacting to all the big stories in the Premier League this weekend. You know there are going to be many, including, of course, the Manchester derby tomorrow. Here at the Emirates, though, it is Arsenal 1, Nottingham Forest 1, and the second half is up next.
Exclusive on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
Incredible scenes here at the Village Hotel's Pub and Grill. Fans are taking their place in the fan zone with stadium-style seating, amazing views on huge screens, and we're underway. Lovely bit of dribbling there as she tackles the burger stack. Now they're getting down the wings. Sticky barbecue. Unbelievable. Oh, and he's hit the bar. And it's there. His favourite ice-cold beer. What a result. Catch every game live in the pub and grill at Village. Get in. Find out more at villagehotels.com.
Food snobs get up to £50 off IKEA Kitchen and Dining until the 28th of September. So can people who don't like coriander. And people who air fry everything. Anyone can get up to £50 off online or at your local IKEA. Even competitive bakers. Simply sign up to IKEA Family. IKEA, the wonderful everyday. Available from 8th to 28th of September on kitchen and dining products. Minimum spend £50 for full TNCs. Visit ikea.co.uk/TNC.
He's having a blinder. He's clipped the post. He's looking formidable. Then...
substitution.
His game might be over, but yours isn't. With Betfair's Safe Sub, your bet simply rolls onto the player coming on. Playing a different league with Betfair.
Valid on selected leagues and markets only. Applies to singles, multiples and bet builder bets on qualified player outcome selections. Does not apply to odds boost. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18+. Gambleaware.org.
The Monopoly game at McDonald's is back. There's over £2 million worth of cash prizes to be won. And a chance to get your hands on some epic prizes. Go on, it's your go. 18+, UK, ends 21st of October. Selected menu items. App may be required. May depend on winning moment. See mcdrules.co.uk.
Football is back and it's game on. Get the ultimate football coverage with the Sun's free pull-out goals. With the best writers pitchside for in-depth match reports, it's all about goals. And with unrivaled news from the Premier League to League Two, it has to be goals. Stay up to date on all the latest football action. Get your free copy of Goals every Saturday, Sunday and Monday, only in the Sun.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Watching the big game cozied up in the snug. Balmy summer nights with the kids playing on the lawn.
We're playing real-life football!
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
That's not level, mate.
Oh, while you're here, we know you have a lot to get through every day. Searching for low prices shouldn't be one of them. That's why Screwfix check prices daily on over 1,000 essentials and basics. Screwfix, low price, checked.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games flexibly with Now. Like West Ham versus Tottenham live today. Search Now Sports. 18+. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
Ignition Football. Game day exclusive on Talksport.
Hello everybody, you are listening to Game Day Exclusive live on Talksport, live from the Emirates. It's half-time in our 12:30 Premier League kickoff. It's currently Arsenal 1, Nottingham Forest 0. Ange Postecoglou's first match in charge of the Tricky Trees. But Martin Zubimendi has got the Gunners off to a flying start in the 32nd minute. It was all Arsenal, apart from a few glimmers from Nottingham Forest towards the end. Second half is coming up very shortly. Just updating you on some of the other results at the moment. And Talksport 2 in the Championship, if you're listening over there, it's Oxford United 2, Leicester City 1. Pretty good for Oxford because they're winless so far in the season. Charlton 1, Millwall 0, and also it's Preston North End 1, Middlesbrough 0. Half times in League 1, Bradford 3, Huddersfield 2, and Northampton, I should say, 0, Blackpool 0. And in League 2, Accrington and Stanley are a goal up at home against Colchester, and it's currently goalless between Crawley and Cheltenham. Okay, so let's turn our attention back onto our game at the Emirates, and we're going to get the latest from Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage.
Odds update on Talksport with Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sub from Betfair. 18+. Gambleaware.org.
Joe Dyer joins us from Betfair once again. Joe, has anything changed in the odds? I mean, it felt overwhelmingly in favour of Arsenal before a ball was even kicked, and I'm guessing it's still overwhelmingly in favour of Arsenal at half-time as well.
Even more overwhelmingly in favour of Arsenal, given that 1-0 lead they've got. Forest looking
pretty toothless until you know, Arsenal decided to sit back a little bit. So yeah, you're getting 1-6 on Arsenal going on to win this from here. A chunky 16-1 on Forest, pulling off a come-from-behind win, and 5-1 on the draw. In terms of entertainment, the market's totally split on whether we'll see over 2.5 or under 2.5. It's 17-20 either way, and that famous chant 1-0 to Arsenal, we get 4-1 on that. The good news for the Talksport bet builder is that 2 legs are in, pretty much. Obviously, if Forest come back to win, then that's the Arsenal bet. You know, down the proverbial. But we have Mikel Mourinho. He landed the shot on target early doors, so that one's in already. Arsenal look good for the win. We just need Gyökeres to pop up and score a goal.
Well, Sam will keep his eyes on that, but anything to get add anything to the pot to the Bobby Moore Fund will do us nicely. Thank you very much, Joe Dyer. As always, that odds update is all thanks to Betfair. Returns accurate as of 10 minutes ago. For verification, see betfair.com. Over 18s only. Conditions apply. Go to begambleaware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sum from Betfair. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Now, following us at 2:30, or depending on how much injury time there is, Adrian Durham will be taking you live across the grounds with all the goals as they go in the Premier League and EFL. He's at Craven Cottage today for Fulham against Leeds. Let's talk about the other 3 o'clock kickoffs before we talk about that one, though, Adrian. How are you, first of all? How was the international break? You were very, very busy, very good across the airwaves, as always. Really enjoyed the coverage.
Thank you very much. The game in Serbia was a joy. England winning 5-0 away and virtually securing their passage to the World Cup. What's not to love about it? And I was in the company of Stuart Pearce, so everything was fantastic.
Always fantastic in his company, isn't it? Absolute England, Nottingham Forest legend. Yeah, it's an interesting one here, of course, watching Stuart's old team. But at 3 o'clock, we're seeing, well, Stuart's very good friend, of course, David Moyes, is Everton taking on Aston Villa. Do you know what? I've got to say, Jack Grealish, he was August's Player of the Month. I'm so delighted for him. This is kind of, you know, the Jack Grealish derby, of course, Everton against Villa at the new ground. What are you expecting for that game?
I'm expecting Grealish to feature heavily in the game. He is Player of the Month, you're right. Deservedly so. 4 assists in 2 starts. Stunning figures. And having seen him play live at the new stadium, I thought he was absolutely magnificent. And he is putting himself into Thomas Tuchel's mind in terms of the World Cup next summer. What horrified me, though, was that Jack Grealish turned 30 this week. We're all getting old.
I know, only 30. Isn't that crazy? It feels like he's been around, you know. I know, enough of this clap. What about Newcastle against Wolves? You got, you know, this is the first, isn't it, of the post-Alexander Isak era at St James's Park. And St James's Park, of course, I mean, it's going to be a cauldron in midweek, of course, when they take on Barcelona in the Champions League on Thursday. So this is sort of very much the warm-up, if you like. I suppose from the way that their season has started, they're just going to be desperate to just, you know, get those points on the board and keep sort of, you know, building some kind of momentum. And they're up against the Wolves side, who've struggled as well.
Yeah, Wolves without Jürgen Strand-Larsen is no real warm-up for Barcelona, is it? But Newcastle haven't had a great start. No win in 3, no Vissery's out injured. And people are saying, well, is Voltemada ready to step up? 65 million quid. I hope he is ready to step up. I'd be surprised if he doesn't feature today, but you would have to say that's a home win. I mean, here, Fulham taking on Leeds. Leeds 1-1, drawn 1, lost 1. They'll see that as a decent enough start to the season, but Fulham spent a little bit of money right at the end of the window, broke their transfer record, so interesting to see their lineup later.
Yeah, finally they did as well. And, you know, Marco Silva's cut a very frustrated figure, hasn't he, in recent weeks? Rightly so as well, you know, given the late business that they did. What chances do you give them this season, and Leeds as well, to stay up?
Fulham or Leeds?
Fulham. To
Fulham,
not stay up.
They're going to be in no danger.
Where do you think? No, I mean Leeds to stay up and Fulham to. Where do you think what is their ambition this season? What do you see for them?
Fulham top 10 is their ambition. They've got a good enough manager to do that, and Leeds staying up, that will do nicely for them, I think.
Yeah, it will, won't it? Adrian, thank you very much. Enjoy Game Day Live. We'll look forward to listening to you as well. Here at the Emirates, though, of course, it is currently Arsenal at half-time, who are leading at Nottingham Forest. A huge game here, of course, with the return of Ange Postecoglou back in the Premier League and back at Arsenal. I mean, what a first game in charge. The players are out on the pitch, which means the second half is about to kick off. You can see Morgan Gibbs-White passing on a few instructions to some of his teammates as well. They've got a big job to do here, of course, if they want to get back into this game. But it was overwhelmingly all in favour of Arsenal in that first half, and they have a goal ahead to prove it. So, as the second half's about to kick off, I'm handing you back to our commentary team, Stuart Pearce, but first, Sam Matterface.
Thank you, Reshmin. Yes, Arsenal beat Nottingham Forest 3-0 in the Emirates Stadium back in November last season. Goals from Bukayo Saka, Thomas Partey and Ethan Nwaneri did the trick. They did the double over them the season before. Forest's only win since returning to the Premier League against Arsenal was the 1-0 victory at the City Ground in the penultimate weekend of the 2022-23 season. Taiwo Awoniyi scored the only goal to secure Forest Premier League safety and confirm Manchester City as the champions ahead of Arsenal at the end of that season. It's been pretty much one-way traffic, almost one-way traffic in that first 45 minutes, but there were a couple of incidents at the end of the first half, especially the moment where Gibbs-White was released into the box, a lovely 1-2 on the edge of the penalty area that showed that Nottingham Forest can be a threat, Stuart Pearce.
Oh, well, it certainly can be, no doubt about that. You know, feeding Gibbs-White will certainly be an indicator if they can get him in there.
Here's Eze inside the penalty area. Gyökeres pokes it in past Matt Sells. It was a long ball from David Raya from the edge of his area. Savona allowed it to bounce, and Eze played a first-time ball through the 6-yard box, and Gyökeres was there. Gyökeres finishing off the move, and Arsenal are 2-0 in front just seconds into the second half. It was brilliant, actually. The ball was played into the fullback first and then sent further on, in behind the defence. And then Eberici Eze, after a poor bit of defending from Savona, first-time ball across the 6-yard box, and Gyökeres tapped it home. Easy as you like, 2-0.
Got to say, horrific start there. Referee's just checking this goal for a potential offside. It is very, very close, but I think he was just onside. Marginal, but onside. There won't be much in it, though. And I've got to say, really poor defending from the fullback there. That ball's travelled long distance. He's got his body shape wrong. Goal's been given. And Eze done brilliantly, I've got to say. He's took the ball on the half volley and rolled it across the face of goal. And Gyökeres as a centre forward's not going to turn down that gift.
Well, I mean, that was about as perfect a start to the second half as you could imagine for Arsenal. Half the crowd didn't see it because they're still out getting their half-time refreshments. But, I mean, if you're Nottingham Forest, that defending was terrible, really, wasn't it?
It was really, really poor. It was just a long, straight ball, basically. And the fullback just got his position wrong. Savona got his position wrong. He's attempted to play it, then decided it's going over his shoulder. And at that stage, I mean, I've got to say, Eze made the cross look very easy, but it wasn't as easy as it made it look. And from a centre-forward's point of view, beautiful.
2-0 to Arsenal then. And after a particularly brilliant first goal, the second goal instinctively taken by Gyökeres, but he won't get too many easier than that over the course of the season. I was just talking to one of the senior journalists, Paul Hayward, just discussing Gyökeres in that first half and how he needed to be just a little bit quicker with his movements to try and outfox Milenkovic. He was at the end of the first half where he almost poked a goal in. He was certainly alert to Eze's cross there, and it's 2-0. And Gyökeres with the third goal in Arsenal colours.
That's not a bad return when you bring a centre-forward into a club. I know he come with a brilliant goal-scoring record, but you want him to hit the ground, and that will give him great confidence.
The criticism will always be, and there will always be criticism. Here's Ndoye down the right-hand side, pushed behind and away by Gabriel. The criticism will be that in the games against Manchester United, in the game against Liverpool, he didn't really manage to fashion enough opportunities. Didn't look like he was going to score a goal, but he's only just got here for a start, and Arsenal didn't exactly create a load of chances. Secondly, he's got a big game next weekend against Manchester City. Game Day Live will come from here, by the way, next Sunday when they take on Manchester City.
Yeah, they've had a tough start to the season, but the points tally's looking pretty decent.
Anderson from the corner for Nottingham Forest, in towards the back post, headed away by Mosquera. Didn't even have a chance to run through the two teams at the start of the second half. Arsenal in those red-bodied shirts, white sleeves and white shorts, attacking the goal to our left, and the clock end in the second, the North Bank in the second half. Here on the left-hand side, Savona trying to bundle his way into the box. Marino does a little trick to get him out of danger, and from the right full-back position manages to clear. Forest in their away jerseys today of white shirts with dark blue bottoms. They look a little bit like Tottenham Hotspur, don't they, coming here? Anderson going down the left-hand side, on to Gibbs' white far side. As they look to try and find a way back into this game, Nottingham Forest, trailing by 2-0. Forward it goes, little flick by Wood, it goes all the way through to his goalkeeper, David Raya, ahead of Gabriel's challenge, and Arsenal have it back again, leading here at the Emirates by 2 goals, courtesy of Victor Gyökeres and Zubamendi. So 2 of the new signings that Mikel Arteta has picked up this summer. Marino back to Gabriel, edge of the area. Raya is the goalkeeper. The right back, Timber, Mosquera, Gabriel and Calafiori the back 4. Zubamendi, Marino and now Nwaneri in midfield after Odegaard's shoulder injury. Madueke, Gyökeres and Eze with the attack. We'll run through the Forest lineup in just a second, but they are putting a little bit of pressure on here. They've given the ball away. Gibbs-White to Marino, and now Calafiori steams forward. He's got support on his left from Eze, tries to play it into him, didn't quite manage to get it through to him, and then he tugs back on Dan Ndoye as he wanders through, looking for Chris Wood. It takes a bubble off his chest and it outfoxes Raya, hits the top of the crossbar, given away to Hudson-Odoi, and then a reaction from Mosquera stops the Arsenal blemish from materialising, because they almost gifted a goal to Nottingham Forest there after a little bit of misfortune from an Arsenal perspective. Almost resulted in a goal which ended up hitting the crossbar. They almost gave the ball back to Hudson-Odoi. Here down the right-hand side, Madueke coming into the area. Nwaneri trying to turn, and he fires the ball towards the far corner. It's over the top of the crossbar. Well, that was end-to-end stuff, and Nottingham Forest could have found themselves back into the game when the ball hit the chest of Chris Wood and just bobbled up over the top of David Raya, hit the top of the crossbar, came back out, and then I'm not entirely sure what they were doing back there, Arsenal, but they gave the ball straight back into the path of Callum Hudson-Odoi, who probably should have done better with it. But I mean, they were so close to conceding there.
Look, they certainly were, and Doyce hit a ball across. I'm not sure it was the best of crosses, to be fair, but Chris Wood's done brilliantly just to guide it with his chest almost, and I think Raya got the faintest of tips to help it onto the crossbar.
2-2 between Oxford and Leicester. They've fought back through Ricardo Pereira. That's his second goal of the season, if I'm not mistaken. Away from home at Oxford United, over on Talksport 2. It's 2-0 to Arsenal here. And Milenkovic, under pressure from Gyökeres, gets the ball back and sends it into the path of the goalkeeper, Matt Sells, and then Marino tries to rob Anderson on the edge of the area. They just about deal with that, and it is cleared away by Nottingham Forest, who are trailing here by 2-0. On the other end then, after the counter-attack, Nwaneri had a good chance as well for Arsenal.
Yeah, he certainly did. Cut inside, opened the goal up, but just couldn't get any direction on it. And after that, ball cannoned off the crossbar as well. Hudson-Odoi had a great opportunity that he got. Well, he took too long on it, didn't he? And a good challenge by an Arsenal defender has just cleared it.
Now, Arsenal did get themselves into good positions a lot last season and then ended up throwing it away. They actually dropped 21 points from winning positions last year, Arsenal. Nottingham Forest not great at coming from behind and getting points, but Arsenal need to make sure that they don't invite them back into the match here. Nottingham Forest will be thinking, we've got to find a way back in. A set piece might well do it. It is going to be Elliot Anderson to take the set piece, 6 yards back from the edge of the area, wide right, looking to try and deliver the ball into the box here. Milenkovic has come up from the back. They'll swirl this in. There's not a high line from the Arsenal defence, but they are 6 yards in front of the 6-yard box. Anderson about to deliver the ball into the area. Arsenal leading by 2-0. Anderson's delivery is a deep one towards the far post. It's over the head of everybody, even the 6'5" Savona, and it goes out of play over on the far touchline, out for an Arsenal throw. 2-0.
Yeah, just put too much. Well, not enough whip. The whip was fine, but probably the pace on the ball was just that little bit too much and just sailed over everyone. Good opportunity there, been wasted.
You're listening to Arsenal 2, Nottingham Forest 0. It's Talksport with Sky Sports, and don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly, like West Ham versus Tottenham live today. Search Now Sports. And we will go around our grounds in the next few moments to get an update on all the team news from the Premier League kickoffs at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Lots of games happening up and down the country. Everton, Aston Villa, Newcastle, Wolves, Fulham against Leeds, Bournemouth against Brighton, Crystal Palace, Sunderland. We've got Stoke Birmingham live on Talksport 2 at the Bet 365. And tomorrow, Southampton against Portsmouth is live on Talksport 2.
Well, not many people, well, I suppose people do know that is a volatile derby, Sam. You know better than most.
Oh, I can't wait for it. I cannot wait for it. I'll be down there tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Game Day Live tomorrow takes you around the grounds with Natalie at 1:30. Of course, today we've got Adrian Durham in the chair, as usual, every Saturday. The best goal service on the radio, Saturdays on Talksport. Just aren't the same unless you've got Adrian Durham in your ear. Let's go down to the Vitality Stadium and get the first team news hit of the day. Alex Crook.
And I can tell you Bournemouth make 2 enforced changes, including a Premier League debut for the 18-year-old Serbian defender Veljko Milosavljevic. James Hill also comes in. Out goes Smith and Giacardi, both injured. 2 changes for Brighton as well. Carlos Baliba is left on the bench. So too is Gomez. Veteran James Milner and Jorginho Ruter come in.
Back here, it's 2-0 to Arsenal. They're attacking down the right-hand side with Nwaneri, and then a little flick by Eze on the other side has released Marino, and he canters towards the edge of the box. He plays it towards Gyökeres, but Nwaneri was the prophet of a bit of a deflection as the ball went into the box, and he was leaning back, and he's elevated it over the top of the crossbar. Let's go off to the Hill Dickinson Stadium. Matt Jones.
And Ndai passes a late fitness test for Everton, but there are problems at left-back. Garner starts there because Mikalenko's injured. As for Aston Villa, Martinez starts in goal after his move away fell through. Dean Bogard and Buendia come in as well as Bezo, Matson, Marlon and Guesson drop to the bench.
Crystal Palace against Sunderland is also a 3 o'clock kickoff at Selhurst Park for us. James Fielden.
Yeah, 2 changes each here. First for Crystal Palace, Adam Wharton and Ismail Assar both are injured. Jefferson Lerma and Yeremy Pino come in, his first start for the club. JD Canvo, signed from Toulouse for 17 million on deadline day, is on the bench. 2 changes for Sunderland as well. Enzo Lefebvre not involved today. Simon Adingra comes in. And Wilson Isidore, super sub so far, starts up front in place of Eliezer Mayenda. It's Palace against Sunderland at 3.
Here's Madueke into the penalty area. Jigs past one, gets to the byline, takes it back into the 6-yard box, and he tries to cut it back, but Sangare is there. He pokes it clear from the edge of the 6-yard box, and Nottingham Forest survive. A couple of changes incoming for Nottingham Forest. Dylan Bakwa is about to come on, and Arnaud Kalimuendo is also about to enter the fray. What's happening at St James's Park? 2 winless teams meeting in front of Mark Wilson.
Yeah, 3 changes for Newcastle. A debut for Nick Voltemade, who starts up top. No Johan Visse, he's injured. Joel Linton and Barnes come in as Botman, Asula and Ramsey drop out. 5 changes for Wolves, who are without Strand Larsen. Sam Johnson starts in goal, and new signing Tolo Arokadari starts up top. 3 o'clock start at St James's Park. Newcastle against Wolves.
Back here, it's 2-0 to Arsenal as Forest try to find a way back into the game by coming forward. Milenkovic to Wood, then on to Ndai. Ndai trying to go around the outside of Gabriel. Gabriel's like, get out of my way, will you? I'm having that. See you later. And off they go again, Arsenal, down the left-hand side. Just too strong, too physically powerful for Dan Ndoye. Up to Eze, then on to Gyökeres. Gyökeres then runs up to the edge of the area, cuts infield, tries to play it out wide to Madueke. Excellent work by Gyökeres. Madueke into the penalty area. On the overlap is Gyökeres. He fires it against the outside of the post with so much venom. I'm surprised that the frame of the goal is still standing.
Great play by Arsenal from back to front. Defensive prowess in their own box with Gabriel to win the ball. He started things off, give it into Eze, who was brilliant. Good strength on the halfway line. And between Gyökeres, what an effort that was. Give it everything he got and slam the outside of the post.
What a absolutely fabulous hit from Gyökeres. Off comes Chris Wood, on comes Kalimuendo, and on comes Dylan Bakwa, and off comes Callum Hudson-Odoi. So we'll go off to Craven Cottage. Albie Reynolds.
And Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Noah Okafor make their first starts for Leeds. They're 2 of 5 changes, with Darlow, Ampadu and Aronson also coming in. Fulham's record signing Kevin is on the bench. It's 1 change for them. Wilson comes in for Castagna.
It's a debut for Delaney Bakwa, the Frenchman who used to play for Strasbourg. He signed on deadline day, scored in his final appearance for the club. Kalim Mwendo goes up to play where Wood was at the top of the formation. Last goals were both in Rennes' 2-0 win over Nice in May. Only 2 players scored more goals than him in Ligue 1 last season. Here's Eze, though, edge of the penalty area, trying to get Arsenal further ahead. It's Calafiori into the box, and it's right the way through the 6-yard box. And actually, it wasn't a bad delivery. And if Gyökeres was attacking that might have been 3-0.
Yeah, really good play again by Arsenal. I tell you what, the more this game goes on, the more Eze is playing a real part in this. Everything he does, possession of the ball, passing, strength on the ball. Very impressive.
Yeah, it's actually been quite impressive from Arsenal. Someone said to me at half-time that there were a few reports online of people suggesting that Arsenal hadn't played that well.
Well, I'm not sure about that. The one thing I can say is their transfer market, a lot gets said about who you bring in, who you don't bring in, but certainly either side here, Madueke and Eze, have probably been arguably the best 2 Arsenal players.
And they brought in Zubamendi and Gyökeres, and those 2 have got the goals.
Well, exactly, yeah. I've overlooked those 2, yeah.
I think they've been
right.
really good. I think they've been really good today. Yeah. Calafiori has just tripped the newcomer, Delaney Bakwa, and gets a yellow card as a result, which I'm not at all happy about, on the basis that he's part of my fantasy team, and that's going to dock me a point. Fantasy was back yesterday. Everyone was doing their changes, weren't they, after deadline day? Here is Marino. Little back heel, little swivel away from the approaching Anderson, gets it out to the far side. Madueke loses possession, it goes out for a throw-in opposite us. And Victor Gyökeres, just the 3rd player to score in each of his first 2 Premier League home appearances for Arsenal after who? We'll come back to that in just a second. Here's Marino, striding forward, out to the left-hand side. Gyökeres, the aforementioned Swede, tries to get it back to Calafiori, but casual, and Bakwa nicks it. Savona gets it infield, and they start to bring it forward again, Nottingham Forest. It's 2-0 to Arsenal. Oh, that's a poor ball forward, and Mosquera has eaten that up very, very quickly. And Kalim Mwendo just on his heels a little bit there. Arsenal have possession back on the halfway line. Here is Mosquera once more. It's raining now. We've had all 4 seasons today, Stuart, haven't we?
We have. We're in spring shower time in autumn.
Here's Eze down the left-hand side, trying to switch the play out towards the right. He does brilliantly to find Madueke, takes it down well, runs at the defence, goes on the outside, again tries to fire it through the centre, comes back towards the byline. He keeps it alive, actually, Madueke, and they're on the front foot again here, Arsenal. Bit of space for him once more, down the right side. His left-footed cross is sent into the area, headed away by Morato, comes out as far as the edge of the box, and Gabriel is encouraged to shoot. Callum Mwendo trying to hold him off. Calafiori takes over. Midway point of the Nottingham Forest half, and Arsenal in possession over on the far side, sending it out to the wide right position where it's collected now by Madueke. They don't have to force the issue here, Arsenal, knowing that they've got that 2-goal cushion established just after the break with the Gyökeres goal, and giving the lead in the first half after 36 minutes by Zubamendi, or 32nd minute after Zubamendi. Here is Marino. Back to Zubamendi again, out to the far side, the right, collected now by Mosquera. Mosquera back to Zubamendi. Good possession for Arsenal, trying to weave their way forward. Not the best of passes by Nwaneri, but he does feed it eventually into Eze. Gets it back again, Nwaneri, into Marino, back to goal, 5 yards from the edge of the area, turns under pressure, looks up. He's got lots of white shirts in front of him, but finds a red one in Eze. Lovely little bump past the defender, gets into the box. I mean, he's taken out on the edge of the area after the ball has gone. Referee says that was a coming together between him and Milenkovic.
Yeah, I think the fact that the ball had sort of gone away from his possession was the reason he didn't give a foul there.
It's a crunching challenge, isn't it? I wouldn't like to be on the end of that.
I've seen a Danish pastry knock you off your feet, though, mate.
Well, you know, I'm wafer thin, me, aren't I? You know. Actually, I was walking into the news building before the show yesterday, and the wind came whipping up, and I almost fell over.
It can be blustery, can't it, outside?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a wind tunnel, that.
It is.
Up by the Shard. 25 minutes to go here. It's Arsenal 2, Nottingham Forest 0. You're listening to Talk Sport. And Nottingham Forest trailing here and not looking like getting back into this game anytime soon, really. They look like they've run out of ideas. If you were to put money on the next goal scorer, you would probably say they'll be in red. Here is Timber moving up to the halfway line. Madueke takes over now. He charges forward to the edge of the box, says see you later to Williams, gets to the byline, produces a cross. It comes in towards Gyökeres, takes a deflection and goes behind. Morata got the final touch. It's another corner, but it's another good move. Another good move led by Noni Madueke.
Yeah, the wing wonders of Arsenal today have certainly set this place alight. I think there's more to come from them, but they certainly are going to create chances. There's no doubt about that this season.
It's been a good performance by the Arsenal offence, that is for sure. And Madueke is being serenaded over on the far side as he places the ball down for yet another corner for Arsenal. Madueke to take it. They all move towards the near post this time, and it's flicked by Gyökeres into the air. It's a high one. It's going to drop towards the crossbar, and Matt Sells, I think, had to touch that behind, and no offside flag has been given instead. And did it go out and then come back in again? Not entirely sure.
No, difficult one to tell that. All you could say was probably it's the first corner that wasn't a positive one, and Arsenal still got first contact in that near post area.
It's
offside. Yeah,
against
offside.
Mosquera, who's in front of the goalkeeper, I think. Miles Lewis-Skelly about to come on. And the Arsenal fans are teasing Ange Postecoglou with the words "you're getting sacked in the morning," which is a little bit unkind. He's only been there for 10 minutes. I know that Evangelos Marinakis is a ruthless man, but I don't think he's that ruthless. Here is Callum Muendo trying to get a shot away from the edge of the area, deflected behind by Gabriel, and it's out for a corner to Nottingham Forest, and the Nottingham Forest fans start to cheer that. We're going to see Declan Rice come on for Victor Gyökeres in just a second as well. And Miles Lewis-Skelly about to come on too. He's going to replace Riccardo Calafiori. Here is the corner at the other end to be taken by Cali Muendo. Sends it in towards the near post, and it's headed away by Gyökeres. That was a good, strong, powerful header from Victor Gyökeres. And now the substitutions are going to take place, and on comes Lewis-Skelly and Declan Rice, and off goes Victor Gyökeres and Calafiori. And another two good acquisitions over the last sort of 12 months. Calafiori didn't play every game last year because he picked up a few injuries, but he's been a really positive acquisition. And Gyökeres, who's got his goal today.
Yeah, as I say, looks good recruitment for Arsenal, and the way things are going at the moment, exciting times going forward. They've had a real tough fixture list at the start of the season, probably the toughest in the Premier League on paper, you would say, especially with the Man City game. Is that right, Sam?
Yep.
Next weekend as well. But if they can sort of maximise points here and maybe there as well with another home game.
I did do you a little pop quiz, which we'll get to in just a second. As the
beautiful.
ball was thrown in. Gyökeres could become the third player, or was the third player to become to score in each of his first two Premier League home appearances for Arsenal. After which two players?
Ian Wright, gotta be.
Marouane Chamakh and Alexandre Lacazette. You didn't see that coming, did you?
No, I did not. No.
There you go. Just the third player to score in each of his first two Premier League home appearances for Arsenal, Victor Gyökeres. Ball thrown in by Lewis-Skelly on this near side. I've got another one for you, don't worry. I know you got a little bit excited that was going to have a musical twist on it. Well, that one's coming. Away by Mosquera, up to the halfway line. And it's eaten up rather easily by Morato as the rain comes tumbling down here. Game day phone in later on with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. Remember, tonight we got an extra one for you. The game day exclusive team return at 7:30 tonight. Brentford against Chelsea, live on Talksport. It's an 8 o'clock kickoff, and remember that game, not usually a fruitful one for Chelsea. I think they failed to win on their last 3 league visits to Brentford. Here is Bakwa cutting in from the right hand side, left-footed cross. It's a dangerous one which is dealt with by Mosquera. Good flying header to get the ball away. He dived into the 6-yard box and managed to arc the header out and away from danger and into safety. Good defending.
I'll tell you what, top quality cross and even better defending. Fantastic positional play.
Rice out to Eze. Rice back in the centre now. On to Eze. And he tries to get hold of it. Arsenal playing without a conventional forward now. So Rice and Marino will try to get up there in support. I'm imagining that Marino will probably be the point man.
Yeah, it looks as though he slotted into that role, doesn't it? With Ricey just playing offset of him on the left-hand side.
Oh, Matt Targett has equalised for Middlesbrough away at Deepdale. It's Preston 1, Middlesbrough 1. Matt Targett with a goal for Borough. As they continue their good start to the season, can they get all 3 points in the final 18 minutes? Crawley Town lead Cheltenham by 1-0. And here it's 2-0 to Arsenal.
Has Ange brought any staff in with him at all? Do
yes,
you know, Sam?
he has.
Who's come in with him?
He's brought in Millie Jedinek and a few of the other staff that he had at Tottenham Hotspur. He's got his familiar team with him. So they're all people that he's worked with before, and actually he was talking about this in midweek, saying that, you know, actually when he got the call, he was on the school run and the rest of his team were scattered across the world, and he had to almost do the old Avengers Assemble thing. I don't think they got any chance of saving Nottingham Forest today. Here's Madueke down the right-hand side, getting into the penalty area, twisting and turning. He's got on the overlap Jurrien Timber, who drives the ball through the 6-yard box, and Rice was sliding in at the far post but was just an inch away from reaching it. It's another brilliant Arsenal move.
Great play, Madueke just holding it up, drew 2 players to him, laid the ball to Timber on the overlap, and I think he got caught between driving a shot across and feeding a cross into the box, and just too strong for Declan.
And came sliding in at the far post, Declan Rice, after coming off the bench today. And it went beyond the far post. Another 2 changes, Ryan Yates and James McAtee about to come on for Nottingham Forest. Arsenal in the run of 7 games in 21 days. They take on Athletic Club, Manchester City, Port Vale, which will be live on Talksport in the Carabao Cup. Newcastle United away will be at that one as well. And then Olympiakos at home, so another meeting with Evangelos Marinakis. Off comes Gibbs White, on comes Ryan Yates, on comes McAtee. They've also got quite a busy period as well with the League Cup in midweek against Swansea City away at Burnley, and Real Betis away, the first of 4 away games for Ange Postecoglou. Then Sunderland and Midtjylland at home before they go off to Newcastle United.
I'm a little bit surprised that he's taken Gibbs White off. Sangara I can understand. I thought he's been really poor today, in my opinion, but you know, McAtee, it's a like for like, I understand that, but I would have thought trying to keep both of those on if you want to get back into the game in some way, shape or form.
Arsenal coming forward again as Eze tries to play it down the left side of the box. Doesn't quite come off for them, and it's cleared away by Matt Sells in the Nottingham Forest goal. It's a congested period for both of them, and I'd actually think that, you know, with Ange Postecoglou, when he looks at this performance, if he's trying to get across messages, this one was always going to be one that was going to be very hard to get anything from. However, you know, when you mention that schedule that I just read out, Swansea, Burnley, Real Betis, Sunderland, Midtjylland, the games are coming every 3 days because of their involvement in Europe and the Carabao Cup. It's a tough time to get your message across, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You learn a lot by the games, there's no doubt about that, and the games tell you more than training, but to actually put an ethos in place, you want contact time on the training pitch. He's not got that luxury, hasn't done a pre-season with a team. And, you know, it's like everything, it will take a while to blend in. and get to know the players.
Timber's done brilliantly. Outfoxed Anderson, fed Madueke right side, then gone for the return. Morata's come out of his slot to stop it from reaching him. Did he commit a foul or a challenge there, Timber? No, says the referee, and he did put it behind Brazilian Morata. So that means it's a corner to Arsenal over on the far side.
Yeah, as I say, he's just trying to shepherd the ball out. Morata, he's certainly playing a lot better as a central defender. Maybe a bit difficult for him playing out wide, but just got a little touch on the ball as he's trying to feed it out of play.
Corner kick over on the far touchline for Arsenal. Remember, their first goal came after a corner was defended out to the edge of the area and it was slammed in by Zubimendi. Second goal coming straight after half-time. Eze setting up Gyökeres for an easy tap-in. Here's the corner. It's a poor one, near post. Madueke hasn't done too much of that. And then there was a foul right on the edge of the 6-yard box and a free kick given to Nottingham Forest. It is currently Arsenal 2, Nottingham Forest 0. And for the latest odds, you can head to Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage. Right now, you can get Arsenal. Arsenal unbackable. So let's do Declan Rice to score or assist. 15-2 between now and the end of the game. A Forest win, 250-1. The draw, 40-1. That's all thanks to Betfair. Playing a different league this season with safe sub from Betfair. 18+, be gamble aware. Here's Madueke on the attack again for Arsenal, as the Arsenal fans start to drum up a bit of support towards the end of the game here. Gabriel out wide towards the left, and it's taken on by Eze. Faced up by Savona. He's beaten him, all ends up, then produced a cross into the box, and it's headed away. Doesn't get too far out of the penalty area, still loose. Madueke's going to get there first. It's bobbling around inside the area, and eventually Anderson manages to poke it out towards McAtee far side, and Nottingham Forest get out. I think if they get away with a 2-0 defeat here, Nottingham Forest, they'll be pleased that it isn't heavier.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. You know, there's been Arsenal at this stage of the game have been worthy winners, and even if the result doesn't end up that way, they've certainly should have been worthy winners on the run of play. I'll tell you what, if I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be going home tonight absolutely delighted that we've acquired Eze and Madueke. I really would.
They've done some great business. They really have. And, you know, those two players on the score sheet, plus Madueke and Eze, have made a big contribution already today. And it's great. Saka's still got to come back. And, you know, there's competition for places. There's options for Mikel Arteta off the bench. And he can make changes too, and he's about to make changes now.
That's it. Sorry, Sam. We talk about players coming in from all around the world as such, but I'll tell you what, when you're a manager and you go out in the transfer market and you're buying people like Isaac and Eze and Madueke who know the league, no settling in period, you know what you're getting. They know the pace of the Premier League.
And Madueke certainly has displayed that today. A lovely take, and he tries to go beyond Williams. Williams drags him to the floor, free kick. And he'll be lucky to escape without a yellow card. Well, there it is. The booking comes out, and Williams, the first Nottingham Forest player to be booked today.
Yeah, he's like a magician at the moment. Madueke playing with a wing. He dangles the ball in front of you, and it's now you see it, now you don't, and off he goes.
Well, they're going to bring on both Trossard and Martinelli here for Madueke and for Eze. And, you know, it's an opportunity for the supporters to appreciate their contributions. And if there was any scepticism about his arrival from Chelsea, that has been scrubbed out. Martinelli on, Trossard on, and Madueke gets a big hug from his manager, Mikel Arteta, after a stellar performance. And Eze as well gets a high five and a hug from Mikel Arteta after his good deeds as well. So Arsenal have made their changes now. And they lead by 2-0 going into the final 11 minutes of the game. They have a free kick wide on the right-hand side, down the side of the area. It's sent back by Waneri towards Rice, who stops the ball, plays it left. Trossard's first touch of the ball is a clip cross towards the far post. Header in towards the far stick, and it's a brilliant goal from Zubimendi, who scores with the back of his head beyond the goalkeeper, runs away, wheels away in celebration. And Ange Postecoglou may have been waiting 99 days to get back to Premier League action. but it's fast becoming clear that Big Ange has got a big job. Arsenal in terrific form today, no doubt about that. But that's twice now that Nottingham Forest have conceded from a set piece in the game.
Yeah, they had the opportunity there to toss the ball into the box from the right-hand side. They changed the point of attack, and I've got to say, Forest will be disappointing. Zubimendi, not the tallest of players, I've got to say, he rose brilliantly to head in, and I think it just took a deflection off of Williams as well. Yeah, it has, that's looped it over the top of Sells.
Well, 60 million quid from Real Sociedad. His last club goals were in March during Real Sociedad's 2-2 draw with Rayo Vallecano. He's got 2 here today to get on the score sheet for Arsenal for the first time, and Nottingham Forest are well beaten. And it's victory for the team in red, a team that have applied themselves really well. It could have been a difficult fixture, this, and it was a difficult fixture last year. Nottingham Forest, remember, just 1 point away from qualifying for the Champions League at the end of last season. Here's Bakwa into the penalty area, headed away by Gabriel. But certainly Arsenal have dealt with Nottingham Forest rather ruthlessly today, I think. Williams on the far side for Forest. Huddersfield have got one back against Bradford, but trailed by 3-1. Kevin Nola's Northampton lead by 1-0. Cam McGeehan, former Norwich trainee, scores with 8 minutes to go against Blackpool. Here is Milenkovic to the right-hand side, and Dilene Bakwa. Bakwa gets to the edge of the penalty area, tries to take on Trossard. Trossard beaten, but Miles Lewis-Skelly is not. Lewis-Skelly, who wasn't involved in the Serbia game, was in the Andorra game for England. He hasn't started yet for Arsenal this season, although has started for England. 9 minutes to go. Arsenal always favourites to blast through the Forest back line. They haven't kept a clean sheet now, Nottingham Forest, in their last 11 Premier League games, and it's not something that Ange Postecoglou is particularly famous for. It'll be interesting to see how they reconfigure themselves. Here's McAtee trying to get beyond Gabriel. Challenge comes in from Gabriel, it's a good one, and now a chance to escape. Martinelli puts on the afterburners and runs down the right hand side. He gets over the halfway line, he pushes the ball in front of him and he scampers forward. They're trying to get back to stop him. Dan Ndoye has chased him, he's checked back Martinelli, and now Urian Timber just slows the pace of the game down inside Forest territory. Midway inside it is Rice. Rice out towards the left, and Trossard moves up towards the edge of the area, flips another cross into the box, a slip by Martinelli. That's going to go behind and out for a goal kick, and it's back with Nottingham Forest away to our left hand side. That's a concern, isn't it? Just the sheer number of games in which they haven't kept a clean sheet, Nottingham Forest, because that was kind of what they were really good at in the first half of last season.
Yeah, definitely. If you've got that solid defensive line, and especially, well, their goalkeeper was the goalkeeper of the season last year as well, in many people's eyes. You've got to defend and keep the ball out your net, and you've always got a chance of winning games.
Are you having any of the criticism that I think I did see a little bit online about the first Zubimendi goal for Matt Sells, the goalkeeper? Can he be faulted there? I thought he was unsighted and it came at him so quick he couldn't have reacted. What did you think?
I thought he got a touch off a defender, skimmed off her forehead on the way through. That's whether there was a natural curve on the ball or it's got a deflection. I don't think the goalkeeper could have done much about it.
7 minutes to go before the end of the game. The ball collected by Ndoye down the left-hand side. His cross is too heavy. Goes right the way through the Arsenal 18-yard box and towards the right-hand side as Nottingham Forest look at it. And they go back into midfield and look to try and build again. And the way things are going at this moment, Arsenal are going to have a pretty comfortable victory. They lead by 3-0 on Talksport, live on this Saturday lunchtime with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. In the Championship, 10 players Charlton have, but they are leading Millwall by 1-0. Oxford United 2, Leicester 2. Leicester also down to 10 players. Preston 1, Middlesbrough 1. By the way, it was Kane Ramsey who was dismissed for Charlton Athletic. And in League One, Bradford lead Huddersfield by 3-1 under Graham Alexander. Northampton Town 1-0 up against Blackpool. In League 2, Accrington Stanley 1, Colchester 0, and Crawley have just scored a second goal in their game against Cheltenham. They lead by 2-0. Over on the far side, the ball is with Arsenal. That was a foul on Urian Timber. Another agricultural one. Just seen shots of William Saliba and Bukayo Saka. He's just drinking a little cup of tea down in the tunnel, waiting for the players to come off and celebrate a victory.
Yeah, shows the strength of this squad, I think, when you've got two individuals of that ability sat on the outside of it, Sam.
Oh, Preston have scored late on in the game at Deepdale. They lead by 2-1 against the leaders Middlesbrough at the beginning of the day. Colchester have had a player sent off. Millwall have equalised through Race Bangura Williams with 2 minutes to go down at the Valley. It's 1-1 in the Championship. And here it's 3-0 to Arsenal with 5 minutes to go. And given away on the edge of the penalty area by Miles Lewis-Skelly, but a foul is given against him. I think he'd be pretty happy to receive that whistle.
Well, I think his first touch was that bad. There's a slight touch on him, but I think he's gone to ground. He knew he'd lost the ball.
Yeah, it was a little bit fortunate there. It was a poor touch from the youngster. Interesting to see how they deal with him this year, isn't it, Stuart? Because he came through last year at a breakthrough season, hasn't started the opening 3 games for Arsenal, came off the bench in a couple of them and came off the bench today. And Thomas Tuchel was talking about the fact that he called him into the squad despite the fact that things hadn't gone particularly well for him at club level, because he felt almost a parental responsibility to the player that they'd fast-track into the England setup.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you come on the scene as a youngster this day and age, and the sort of hoo-ha and the fanfare that comes with it, but it's that level of consistency that you've got to keep churning out. To break into the Arsenal team at his age was incredible, and then all of a sudden he was the first starter for the England team. So you can rise up the game very quickly, but the game can overtake you quickly as well unless you keep fully focused.
Fascinating to see what happens with him, because he is a midfield player by trade, and there is always the opportunity for him to make that sort of role a place where he could reside, maybe in cup games as well. Here's Martinelli down the right-hand side, looking to deliver the ball into the box. Trossard trying to get on the end of it, and he just about sees it past his left toe as he stretches out to reach it. Back with Trossard again as he attacks the penalty area, trying to take on Savona, who's had a chastening debut. The second half has certainly been difficult. He sort of settled in quite quickly into the team, and then in the second half it started to unravel. McAtee's picked it up on halfway and tries to run at the Arsenal defence. He plays it out towards the left-hand side. Kalim Mwendo takes over now. He just tries to charge at Urian Timber, who shows him away from goal. And then they all go back towards the halfway line, and Nottingham Forest regroup again and try to attack Arsenal, who lead by 3-0. And that defence from Arsenal, again, not conceding a goal today. They got a little bit fortunate with the Chris Wood sort of chest bump that went over the top of Mariah's head, and then the subsequent follow-up from Hudson-Odoi. But it's just 1 goal conceded now in the opening 3 games of the season, which is the joint fewest currently in the Premier League, but surely will be the fewest. And what do they say? Offence wins games, defence wins titles.
Yeah, but they've defended pretty well when they've had to. I think what they've done well was when Forest have had those odd attacks, the odd counter-attack where you thought they were a little bit unhinged, they've got back and defended well one-on-one and got numbers back quickly.
I feel the Arsenal fans have seen enough, satisfied with the victory. Certainly there's not much chance of Nottingham Forest finding a way back into this game. Mosquera trying to bring it out from the back. He is thwarted from charging forward. It's not the greatest back pass from Timber to David Raya. Didn't have enough pace on it, and Raya had to eventually rush his ball forward. This is Rice. Looks up. Martinelli had actually made a really good run, and Rice thought about sending him down the right channel. Trossard has done the same down the inside left channel. Marino has taken it on and then twirled away from 2 Nottingham Forest players. They're on the halfway line now as the rain stops and the sun comes out again. Is that spring sunshine or autumn sunshine?
No, this is autumn sunshine in the spring from the summer.
Okay, thank you. Do you know what? I was going to ask you a question, wasn't I? That I thought I probably should try and get out. What were you doing in March 1989? Do you remember?
March 89. Well, I was playing for Forest.
It was the last time that Forest won away at Arsenal. Do you remember it?
No, not definitively.
Nigel Clough, Franz Carr and Stuart Pearce all scored in a 3-1 win.
Oh, is that correct?
Yeah. Here is Anieri towards the far post, over hitting his cross. It goes out of play. It was the year, actually, it was 89, so it was the year that Arsenal went on to win the league in the final game at Anfield. We all remember that. And Forest finished 3rd. Some songs that were in the charts at the time, Like a Prayer.
Yes. Madonna.
Yes. Too Many Broken Hearts.
Rick Astley?
No, Jason Donovan.
Oh, yeah.
Love Changes Everything.
Does it really? Don't know. Who sang that? No idea.
Michael Ball. They were the top songs of the month. Listen, I was looking for records that you might know.
Not in 89.
None of them.
No
none
chance.
Of them were.
Unless Carter, the Unstoppable Sex Machine, had arrived on the scene at that stage.
No, I found a Guns N' Roses song, Paradise City. That was in the top 20 just about. And I thought that you might accept that.
It was a musical wasteland. Everyone appreciates that nowadays.
Yeah.
But I love the quiz, I really do. Was that the Forest game at Highbury?
Yes, it was.
I didn't know I'd ever scored at Highbury. I've learnt something new every day.
I like the fact that I was the one to tell you. I feel it's a bit of an honour.
Quite worrying, really, isn't it?
Last few minutes of the game here. This is Talksport, and it's picked off by Rice. Rice playing the ball left towards the left-hand side, and now Trossard to try and finish the game. He cuts in on his right foot, jumps to the floor. Referee says no penalty. He should have hit it left-footed.
He certainly should have done. Your assist or goal from Declan Rice looked well on then if Trossard would have delivered.
We've already won the charity bet, mate. Don't worry about that.
Oh, you're home and dry.
Oh, yes,
beautiful.
Home and dry. Marino with a shot on target. We got an Arsenal victory and a Gyökeres goal. We had to change Ricey because he didn't start in the team. Oh, what's this? Son Johansson has equalised for Middlesbrough. The league leaders away at Preston North End right at the end of the game. It's 2-2. Here is Callum Mwendo down the left-hand side trying to get to the byline. Produced a cross, poked away. And then Arsenal go on the charge for maybe a 4th goal as it's released up to Marino. No, he'll wait for the foul from Ryan Yates. And that is the free kick. 4 minutes of added time, 3-0 to Arsenal. We've played a minute and a half of that, and it's been a very, very successful day for Mikel Arteta. Not so for Ange Postecoglou. He's got to go away and lick his wounds here.
Yeah, he learnt a bit about his team today. I think that they're lacking a little bit on that counter-attack threat that was so evident to see last year. They've lost a little bit, obviously, with players leaving the football club. From Arteta's point of view, wonderful performance when all your players have been away internationally. You want to get them back and you want a good result, especially 2 weeks ago when they were beating at Liverpool in a very tight game.
Game Day Live with Adrian Durham coming up at 2:30 as we whiz you round the grounds in frenetic style. All the goals as they go in. The phone in from 5:30 with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. The last time Portsmouth beat Southampton, by the way, Jamie O'Hara scored that game. Tomorrow, Talksport 2, Southampton, Portsmouth at midday. Game day exclusive tonight. Brentford against Chelsea is live at 8 o'clock. Nottingham Forest on the attack right at the end of the match here. Callum Mwendo trying to get down the left side of the penalty area, but good defending by Arsenal. Picked up by Williams, who tries to strike from distance, blocked by Marino, who's been excellent again today. Rice pressurising from the front. And Milenkovic loses the ball. Marino's got it. There's loads of space for Martinelli. Could have played that round the corner quickly. He has now played it. And Martinelli is in behind. And Morato has made a mistake. Martinelli's got hold of it inside the penalty area now. Trying to get it back to Rice. It's deflected into the 6-yard box. And Sells reacts quicker and just about gets there ahead of Leandro Trossard.
Yeah, good attack there by Arsenal. But they couldn't get the ball forward quickly enough. You know, it was just held up in midfield, couldn't get a turn on. Everyone was screaming, give it to me, I can see it and play it, but it wasn't forthcoming.
Just got a little whack there, Matt Sells on his head. Only a few seconds remaining, and they just stopped the play just to assess him. 3rd league win of the season incoming for Arsenal, who had won 4 successive Premier League games either side of the summer break before their defeat at Anfield. And Nottingham Forest have given the ball back to Arsenal, and Rice is coming forward again into the penalty area looking for Waneri, cut out by Milenkovic and cleared away. 3-0 with just seconds remaining. Callum Mwenda picks it up. It's 3-on-2 in Nottingham Forest's favour. They burst into the box, get to the edge of the penalty area, and he shoots it straight at the chest of Gabriel. It goes out for a corner, which won't be taken because that's the end of the game. Big Ange, big return, has a familiar feeling about it. It's another defeat in North London. He never beat Arsenal whilst he was at Spurs, and with just 3 days preparation he couldn't overcome an Arsenal side that have ploughed money into their attacking resources. Don't be fooled, Arsenal are not plucky underdogs. If they click and they ride out these injuries, they will take Liverpool all the way. They have a strength in depth now that means they should be expected to do that. And maybe this is the year that they live up to those expectations. Zubamendi on the score sheet twice, and a goal from Victor Gyökeres, meaning that he scored on both appearances at the Emirates Stadium after his big money move in the summer, has secured all 3 points for Mikel Arteta. Full time at the Emirates. Arsenal 3, Nottingham Forest 0.
Sam, thank you very much. Yeah, jubilant scenes here at the Emirates. You got salt and pepper on the airways. Sam's dancing away. Stuart doesn't even recognise it because, you know, it was a musical wasteland back then. So
it certainly was. I'm just watching DJ Matterface in full action.
In full action. To be fair, so am I. This is a tune, and I tell you what, every single Arsenal fan will be singing along to it because it's been Arsenal pushing, and they will want to keep pushing their way to the top of the table. That is where they are currently, of course, with so much football still to play this weekend. A really comprehensive win for them. After all the rain and the 4 seasons that we've seen today, the sun is back out, and the players are relishing in it on the pitch. They're soaking it all up, and it was a really important victory to get for Arsenal. Their players performed really well over the international break, and they wanted to not lose any momentum when the league came back in. They haven't done that, and it was a very, very decent, comprehensive win for this Arsenal side. Mikel Arteta absolutely delighted. You can see Ange Postecoglou on the pitch shaking hands with some of the Arsenal players and going over to the away end to clap the Forest faithful who made the journey down to watch the game today. It was a huge ask for Ange Postecoglou. As Sam rightly said, just 3 days preparation, no pre-season, and taking on a team, many of whom have been on international duty as well. It was never going to be easy, but that first victory here against Arsenal still eludes him because his side suffered what really was a big defeat in the end. I suppose it was hard to put a case for an Ange Postecoglou win for Nottingham Forest in his first game in charge here against this solid Arsenal side, a side that is solid in defence and attack. What did you make? First of all, let's talk Arsenal first of all, Stuart Pearce. They're looking the real deal, not just solid individual performances, but as a team as well. Yeah,
when asked about their chances of winning the title in the summer, I didn't think so. I thought there was better teams out there. Having watched that, they're going to be very close, especially with these 2 new wide players in. Saka to come back. Saliba wasn't on show today either, but Madueke and Eze are going to play a big part this season for Arsenal, and I thought they were very impressive.
And even missing players like Saliba, I mean, we always talked about that partnership, Gabriel and Saliba, you know, the best central defensive partnership in Europe, you'd say, or one of the best, certainly last season. What did you make of the way that they defend? I mean, let's be fair, they didn't have much to defend against. It was only, you know, glimmers and a few off chances that Nottingham Forest had. But they are keeping clean sheets. They are getting the job done.
Yeah, and you can see why, really. They take a pride in defending. Whenever there was the odd occasion you thought, oh, this could be dangerous, like we saw just before us there, Gabriel holds his ground and says, what you're going to do to beat me? You know, he's a physical barrier amongst others, and I thought they got their positional play very good when things were being fed across the face of goal.
Yeah, chest pumped, definitely, for the Arsenal defence, and of course fluid in their attack as well. What about Nottingham Forest then? It's 15 matches that have gone by and they have not won here. at the Emirates ever. They last beat Arsenal in 1989, and that was at Highbury. So it's a long record, and obviously they've not been in the top flight for many years either. So, you know, that probably tells a different story. But in terms of the play and the job that Ange Postecoglou has to do now, what is his biggest priority? What will he have learned today? What is the biggest priority he needs to fix, given that he's got games coming thick and fast every 3 days from now?
For me, it would be integrating the new players. You know, McAtee come on today. Where does he figure in the scheme of things? Is he a starter? Is he not? The counter-attack threat, that it was their strongest card last year. I thought it was just missing a little bit today, you know. And
but no transfer window. I know you're talking about Anthony Elanga. He can't bring any new players in,
no,
so he's going to have to find a way with the team that he has. How's he going to do that?
Exactly that. He's going to have to play through the midfield area. I thought Sangara was disappointing today. The pluses, Anderson, I thought, played very well today. You know what Gibbs White can do. McAtee, where does he feature in that, and getting that midfield three correct? And then from there, you know what Chris Wood can do, but you have to supply chances for him. You know, he's hit the crossbar today, and he's not really had a chance, has he, to be honest?
Yeah, there were very few opportunities going forward. A criticism that has been levelled against Ange Postecoglou quite a bit during his time at Tottenham was defending against set pieces, and he always said, no, it's not something we need to work on, it's not something we need to work on. But today this team as well proved that perhaps set pieces is something he needs to think about.
Bit harsh, really. I thought Arsenal's delivery was magnificent. They left the ball in there with not much pace on it, and it caused problems. Bizarrely, the one that they cleared outside the box ended up coming back and hitting the back of their net. So a tough call on that one, but Arsenal make it difficult. If you're going to be under pressure in both boxes from set plays, Arsenal aren't the team you want to play against.
No, that is also very true. So, yeah, a few lessons then for Ange Postecoglou to take from this. I'm sure he'll be studying very heavily over these next few days. So it was indeed a big win for Arsenal, 3-0 there. And we're going to pick our man of the match now with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The Here For It hero on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Oh, Stuart Pearce looks like he's debating this one a little bit.
If
Where are
we
you
ever
going to go?
pick two players and share it or not, because at the moment,
producer Keelan,
Madueke and Eze, I thought were outstanding. I'm going for Madueke.
You're going for Madueke?
Yeah, but both of them were magnificent today, I thought.
OK, and Madueke, given that he's had a brilliant start to his career at Arsenal, considering he's flying for not just club but country as well, that is a real kind of feather in his cap today. And you saw the reception that he got from the Arsenal fans when he went off. That tiny, ridiculous, moronic section who didn't want him to sign will be wondering why they ever got so upset in the first place.
Yeah, ridiculous, really, you know, but if he keeps supplying performances like that, he'll be a favourite here for years.
OK, well, there's a toss-up between Eze and Madueke, but Stuart Pearce has gone for Noni Madueke. That was our Here For It hero, man of the match from today's game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.